again. And it looks like we have Day2 in the lead. Pusher. Yeah, she crosses the first line. There's another one. CIA. CIA, the lead crosses that one now. They're up. And Day2 is rounding the corner. Well in the lead. Through to Allen. Are we throwing it to Allen now? We don't have Allen. Or point the stall. This is Mike Rosman coming to you with Tristan Hoffman and Cam Cruz here broadcasting Buggy this year. This is our first year broadcasting, so it's kind of exciting. This is Mike's first year here. We don't have our truck working quite yet. It should be up shortly, I hope. However, we do have someone up for a finish line who knows the actual way gets there. And the crowd has moved over. The crowd is over watching this finish line. Up to exciting, fast-paced, hectic start here. And I know Buggy's not there, but do we have Adam? Well, we don't hear Adam yet. Hopefully we have Adam. All results today are official. They'll be officially awarded tomorrow morning at the awards ceremony, but...
Thank you, Eric.
And it looks like they're coming towards the finish line. The crowd's starting to cheer.
Let's go!
There comes Beta. Yes, Beta appears the unofficial winner of the first heat. That's no surprise, that's the 18 million CIA B team. Some athleticism showing up on the Beta side. And remember, since we got rained out yesterday, there will be no finals tomorrow. They'll just use the times from today's heats to, They'll use the results from today's heats to determine the winners tomorrow.
Coming down the hill. Sweet. First Buggy's getting ready to approach the stop sign. Taking a nice tight line around the corner. We got a little wind on the backside, of course. I wonder how it's going to affect things. And the first Buggy reaches the stop sign in pretty good time. Second Buggy drifting a little further behind. And the first Buggy reaches their flagger. And coming up on their second flagger. And it's hitting the second flagger. And the other Buggies are a little behind as they finally got to the first Buggy. First Buggy into the chute. So far as clean. Coming around the chute. Pretty clean. The second Buggy just ready to go into their chute on their line. And it looks like the first Buggy is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows. And they're getting ready for their transition to their upgraded door pusher. The second Buggy finally coming around. And we're coming up on Hill 4, Hill 3 getting ready to make their transition to Hill 4, coming up to the transition point and giving a final shove. Nice push off to the Hill 4 pusher.
Everybody's moving in!
The second Buggy not too far ahead of the lead, ahead of the follow truck. So I think they're going to pick up the pace a little bit more. Running beautifully, great forward. Doing this jog, push.
Autofocus and very wide.
And they're coming up on their transition.
Go, Jen, all the way
Hill
through,
5.
you got it.
Getting ready to make that final two-handed shove into the Hill 5 pusher. Right in front of Hunt Library, it looks like a Hill 4 pusher. And tired. Coming up on Hill 5, and we send it to our finish line reporter. about our finish line reporters and around as they're coming up on the alumni tent, and it looks like a little bit of time is being made up by the Hill 4 pusher, very strong one for Phi Cap, and getting ready for their Hill 5 push. It looks like they're coming up on the finish line and on the buggy. Looks like it's going to get across in reasonable time. But I'll do it for the third heat of today's coverage. Be sure to stay tuned for some Spirit and Signal, and I'll send it back to the guys up at the top of the hill.
Well, a very exciting race we just witnessed there. Number one. Set.
Is coming quickly into the middle. This is going to be one of their fastest and they're approaching the chute where they finish the catch. But they're cleanly into the chute. Signal is cleanly into the chute. Spirit's hard to approach the chute. For their women's B team. But it looks like the driver's okay.
So, relatively safe spin in the chute, but a spin in the chute nonetheless. So it looks like Signal was kind of their transition from Hill 4 to Hill 5, making good time, very good time in that, as we approach the finish line area.
And they make their final shove off to their Hill 5 pusher. Hill 5 pusher picking up a lot of speed. Driver driving a very clean race so far, doing a great job moving the chute, which is a little harder to do because they tend to be a little bit more material off the heavier one with the lighter back. That looks like it's going to be a clean race, and they're going to have a good race this year. First time this year they come up on the finish line. And they cross the finish line.
Appreciation of their teammates as they're Hill 5 pusher looks thoroughly exhausted and send it back up to you at the top.
2, 1, ready, set, and they're off.
This heat 5 today has begun with STC Fringe and KDR. STC pulling out to a bit of a lead. KDR doing a strong showing on the first hill of the Fringe early in the week. STC's running 5 seconds behind already. And so SDC is getting ready to push off, but they weren't able to make a final shove into the hill. And the other two teams, KDR and Fringe, are both necking that as they push off. Looks like with KDR just a feet ahead of Fringe. Fringe rolling very well behind. So SDC still rolling well on the backside, but we gotta wonder whether or not getting in that second hard shove right before the hill on from their Hill 2 pusher is going to affect them as they finally round the corner and approach the stop sign and reach the stop sign, get ready to cross over. They cross over the road into the flagging area and reach their flagger. they give their final shot. Big flag up in there. Bring the nice orange shirts to us. Probably the brightest. SDC and Red getting ready for their transition from Kill Sporting 05, right in the front of Baker Hall. Making their transition. Flag goes up.
So, looks like we're coming up on the finish line. Nice, strong run. The finish line. What did I say now?
I just want to talk to him before I hit back.
Kevin Watt, SDC took the victory. Absolutely. And behind there we got Fringe coming up about maybe 10 yards in front of the yard. Now it's key to remember is that where you finish relative to the other races you beat. It's true. Absolutely. And the technician is intending to 315 and Fringe crosses and KDR comes up right behind. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, ready, set, and they're off.
Let's go up the hill. We got Spirit A and Pioneer B in this race, with Spirit A trying to make up for their initial instinct performance. Buggy is a little different. In fact, the back wheels and Spirit Buggy this year are offset, just like we haven't historically seen from them. Similar, very, very similar design also used by Pioneer and B this year. And Spirit A really wants to make every make a transition already in those two. And getting ready to push off with strong one, about 27 seconds. And then right at about 32 seconds, Pioneer B's team finally makes their transition to hill 2. And Spirit getting ready to push into a free roll. Not a hard shot, a little bit of a light shot, but enough to push over. As Spirit's breakaway Buggy is rolling beautifully with the sun glistening on its front windshield. And just finally going into the free roll is Pioneer's B team. After not quite as quick push up the first hill of the race. So Spirit so far rolling cleanly through right by the parking meters. We're also covered up with yellow signs taking the parking car there this morning. I thought it was towed or disappeared. As Spirit reaches the stop sign at a minute and 10 seconds, Pioneers will be late. Spirit approaching their first flagger, and they reach their first flagger at a minute 20. Pioneers just starting their race. They didn't reach their first flagger. Spirit coming up on the edge. Great reroll by Pioneer. As looks like it picked up a lot of speed throughout. Now, Spirit getting ready to push off the Arizona forward pusher and giving a nice final shot. But getting ready to make their transition to hill 4 is the Pioneers B team, and they're giving up their shot. And looks like Spirit's getting ready to come up to hill 5 as they're pushing the transition area. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They reach the transition area, gets their push over the final pusher.
Not first, a little further down the order, but they're coming up on the finish line. And are they going to cross under 3 minutes? Right as we reach the 3-minute mark, looks like they crossed the line at 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So not a great shoot for Spirit, as they have a little bit of weak free roll. And Pioneers also approaching the finish line.
Pioneers,
They're across.
Pioneers stumbling into that. 3:20 now, and they're pushing hard. and walked across the finish line, and I'm going to give you an unofficial time of 3:32. So.
Hey, yeah. Take a little bit.
Fringe's teardrop shaped buggy this year is already off to a great start as they're running neck and neck and already pulling ahead of CIAA in their one as they're making it a little bit early to a lot of the other teams. Be a good strong push. It looks like a bit bigger of a buggy. Might be a little heavier, but more stable, big wide teardrop shapes here, which is just not painted black.
They get ready to show off those two. 23 seconds. Not a bad here on one side. And also,
on the road, going into the bike lane, not pulling it too close to the curb. Just a bit of a dangerous thing to do. And looks like CI is actually pulling very well as they've stayed about the same distance behind Fringe. Fringe coming up on the stop sign and approaching it at a minute and 4 seconds, 5 seconds faster than the Spirit did. So they're very good at now. They approach their first time and get there 1 minute, 10 seconds.
heat, we have the women's Beta A team going against the CIA B team. Are they off? And they're off. And they're off again. And it looks like we have Beta A in the lead. Pusher. Yeah, she crosses the goal line. There's downhill one. CIA B crosses hill one now. They're off. And Beta A is right near the corner. Well in the lead. Through to Allen. And are we throwing to Allen now?
We don't have that.
Or this is Mike Roswell coming to you with Tristan Hoffman and Cam Cruz here broadcasting Buggy this year. This is our first year broadcasting, so it's kind of exciting. This is Mike's first year here. We don't have our truck working quite yet. It should be up shortly, I hope. However, we do have someone up for a finish line who knows the actual weekends there. And the crowd has moved over. The crowd is over watching this finish line. Up to exciting fast-paced active start here. And I know Buggy's not there, but do we have Adam? Well, we don't hear Adam yet. Hopefully we have Adam. All results today are unofficial. They'll be officially awarded tomorrow morning at the awards ceremony, but...
Thank you, Eric.
And it looks like they're coming towards the finish line. The crowd's starting to cheer. There comes Beta. Yes, Beta appears the unofficial winner of the first heat. That's no surprise, that's the 18 million CIA B team. Some athleticism showing up on the Beta side. And remember, since we got rained out yesterday, there will be no finals tomorrow. They'll just use the times from today's heats to, they'll use the results from today's heats to determine the winners tomorrow.
Coming down the hill. Sweet. First Buggy is getting ready to approach the stop sign. Taking a nice tight line around the corner. We got a little wind on the backside, of course. I wonder how it's going to affect things. And the first Buggy reaches the stop sign in pretty good time. Second Buggy drifting a little further behind. And the first Buggy reaches their flagger. And coming up on their second flagger. And it's in the second flagger. And the other Buggies are a little behind as they finally get to the first Buggy. First Buggy into the chute. So far is clean. Coming around the chute. Pretty clean. The second Buggy just ready to go into their chute on their line. And it looks like the first Buggy is clean. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows. And they're getting ready for their transition to their upgraded door pusher. The second Buggy finally coming around. And we're coming up on Hill 4, Hill 3 getting ready to make their transition to Hill 4, coming up to the transition point and giving a final shove. Nice push off to the Hill 4 pusher.
Everybody to the limit!
The second Buggy not too far ahead of the lead, ahead of the follow truck. I think they're going to pick up the pace a little bit more. Running beautifully, it's great sport. Doing these standard jog, push.
Autofocus and very wide.
And they're coming up on their transition.
Jen, all the way through, you got it.
Getting ready to make that final two-handed
timing heat. This right here is Robo Buggy. Robo Buggy is rolling autonomous right now, attempting an autonomous roll. So again, no driver in that buggy.
And this is the first ever fully autonomous roll on a race day.
Could be a pretty cool piece of buggy history we're witnessing right here. Getting started, getting things underway on these finals. A little bit of a chilly, crisp April morn. Shoving down into hill. Shoving's a strong word.
And that seems to be a problem for the autonomous buggies, that curb right there.
Yeah.
But it's continuing
still
on.
going. Which a human driver
more
would not
curb.
do. Oh, here we go.
Oh, we're good.
Hey, it corrected. Again, ladies and gentlemen, no driver in the buggy. CMU students have engineered it so that's a robot without anybody telling it what to do, doing what it does, which is drive.
It lost a little
hope.
bit of speed there on its third hit with the curb.
Yeah, it's going to be that poor Hill 3.
This is the Hill 2.5 push coming up here. Oh, she might not be able to catch it. It's taken off.
Well, technically, Hill 3 starts at the end of Hill 2, so I'm hoping she's not their Hill 3 pusher as well.
Is this a new strategy team will implement? The Hill 2.5.
This is unfortunately not the first time I've seen this.
Did Camo have a Hill 3 pusher?
Camo has had a Hill 2.5. At the stop sign, it got a nice little shove or two.
Oh, we have another pusher here.
There's the 2 3/4. Nice transition there.
Okay, now it's got a turn here.
And this is tricky. This is coming up to that stop sign. We don't even have the timer up, which is probably good. All right, and coming through the chute, this is incredibly difficult for a human to do. Let's see how a buggy can do it. Though, I will add, to the buggy's credit, there are no chute flags. So, take that, drivers.
Uh-oh.
Make the turn.
Oh, okay.
It's turning right there.
Oh, we have a time.
All right. 2:37.
Oh, no, it's stuck.
Oh.
And something came off, it looks like.
A little bit of overcorrection there.
It's like just overcorrected a little bit too much there. And Robo Buggy is stopped. Couldn't quite make it through the chute there. But here's 2 5/8 or something. 7/8.
2 7/8. This is an
monument.
early turn. It's a very early chute turn.
Elon, how's it looking down there? I just
Well,
heard you
I
over
gotta say,
broadcast.
This is not the best shoot line I've ever seen,
Volume on chute mic.
but they might make it.
So it's coming through the chute right here.
A little wide, but here they go. Oh, generally pretty clean.
That's actually, yeah, that's not a bad chute turn right there. Coming through. 3 11/12. Coming through 2 11/12. It's early.
Just a really
Lord.
long Hill 3 there.
And I have done that push before, picking it up in the chute. It is painful. By the time you get to the actual Hill 3, you are wiped out.
And that's Hill 3. Yeah, taking it the whole way. There's no help there.
The great thing about an autonomous buggy is that you can just keep going. After the first crash, you got to stop a human driver, and you got to make sure she's okay. But this is a robot, so all bets are off.
Robo Buggy now coming up here. Hill 3 transitioning into Hill 4. And it looks like with a little bit of a slip up in there, we're going to have our first completion of a course by an autonomous self-driving buggy, which is pretty incredible accomplishment right here. I know Robo Buggy's been working on this for a while.
You know, it's got a little. It's an interesting history. The buggy was built in the, I believe, late '90s initially as a school project, and part of Robo Club. After the person graduated or whatever, it kind of went away for a little bit. A few years back, a couple of brothers of AE Pi actually were in Robo Club and got the buggy, tried to build an autonomous version, couldn't get it to roll on race day, unfortunately. Once they graduated, It went back to Robo Club. They've retrofitted that. This is actually the second buggy. The original Robo Buggy is probably in storage or something, but they built Transistor, I believe, 2 years ago, and it's rolled pretty much by remote control the last couple of years, but they've been working on the autonomous nature, and this one, minus some issues early on, is going to complete the course.
Yeah. Honestly, if the hay bale wasn't there, probably would have kept going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
And that hay bale is there. Unfortunately, there was an accident another year where somebody hit the stairs there. And so that's a fairly new hay bale on the course. But it's been there for a few years, so.
Here they come approaching the finish line here. Maybe a sub 6 minute time.
Yeah. Let's see. Hill 5 trying to guide it right there. See, can they get under 6? Looking like it might not be the case. That's all right. Robo Buggy, though, the first autonomously driven buggy. Got to make sure the hands are on the push bars going across. Otherwise, it doesn't count. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. The first ever self-driven buggy completed. Congrats to Robo Club right there.
And a new team record.
That's right.
And in fact, a new class record.
Right.
This is the mark that any robotic buggy from now on will ever try to beat.
Was that 5:08?
Approximately. Approximately a 6 minute.
Yeah, will we ever see sub 5?
Well, we actually may see sub 5 next because our next heat will be an autonomous buggy.
Yes.
Of Atlas.
Oh, okay, all right. So we got a little bit of competition here.
Congratulations to the Robo Club guys and girls over there coming back down to the front hills. Excellent job with that buggy. And, it's going to be interesting to see with the future of Buggy, Carnegie Mellon being such a heavy engineering robotics type of school. We went from no robotic buggies 3 years ago to now CIA has a subgroup called Atlas, which is running the next buggy, I believe, which is also an attempt at an autonomous roll. Yesterday, they tried a timing roll, and unfortunately, the buggy flipped over and had to be taken off the course.
And they seem to have problems all at the... Oh, did it fail drops?
It may have failed drops. That time, they're DQ. No, this is incredibly impressive to put this together. We'll be underway probably 9-ish. Or what time is it? About 10 for... it's looking like 10 o'clock or so for re-rolls. And then women's finals a little bit after 10.
They are making a second attempt at drops.
And
the success!
Wow. How do you, I don't know anything about computers, but how do you teach it to know its drop time?
And not just the initial drop, but one of the things about
the
drops
stop
is
and the restart.
Yeah.
you have. So one of the things for drop test, it's an attempt to test the braking system. But not only do you have to make the initial stop, you have to then release the brake and re-brake to prove that it actually works.
Right, that your brake doesn't just work one time.
Exactly. And the Robo Buggy was just successful in that as well.
What's interesting to me is that they're not using a flag. So when you do a drop test with a human driver, you're allowed to use a flag as well as yell brake. So either the buggy is seeing the line where the drop test is defined, or it's hearing them yell brake.
Yeah.
I didn't hear them if they yelled.
I've just heard the cheering.
I've just heard the
yes.
cheering. So
Congrats to Robo Club. By the way, if anybody has any antacids on the course, holler at your boy. I'm up here in the booth. I could use some Tums.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see as we come up again. CIA, a branch of CIA called Atlas, rolling a buggy that CIA used to have as a actual driver buggy, Quasar, is now rolling as Robo Quasar. So we've got 2 on the course this year, and it's possible, new organizations, additional organizations may come out with robotic buggies in the future, and we may end up actually having a whole new class of buggy competitors. So we'll have women's, men's, and robots.
And robots. This is how they take over. This is the beginning of the end. Wow.
But drivers will never fully go away in buggy because driving has to be one of the most exciting things that you could possibly do at Carnegie
It's one of the
Mellon.
best parts of buggy.
I just got somebody from Robo Buggy down here saying that, in fact, the brake is controlled by the remote controller.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thanks, Elon.
So it is not a fully autonomous brake, but it was a fully autonomous roll. It looks like Atlas is lined up in the middle of the 6. We got 5 seconds till the Atlas autonomous roll attempt. They're going to be out of lane 2.
Here we go. Atlas veering to the left.
And you know, with that veer, I was speaking with one of the Robo Club members, I think last year, and they were saying the initial spot, because the buggy is stationary, it can't tell exactly where it is, so it will automatically veer to the left at the beginning until it starts moving and gets its bearings.
Sounds like my golf shot. I don't play golf. That was stupid. Here we go. Transition from 1 to 2. Atlas looking pretty clean so far after that initial kind of wiggle there.
And that was a 31-second Hill 1. That may be King of the Hill right now.
So Quasar was a buggy that was run in the early 2000s and then was brought back.
Not the curb, not the curb.
Oh, same problem as yesterday.
There is something about that curb.
I think it probably comes up a little bit too fast for them, and they can't see it. And then by the time the software detects that it's there, it's too late.
It's a 2-piece shell. They're gonna put top back on. Hopefully, try to get it maybe back on the course and see if it'll keep rolling.
Let's see. Losing some major time here.
And it's off again.
Okay, there they go.
There we go. Again, I know nothing about computers, but I feel like it's probably, with that low of a profile, kind of hard to get the right kind of field of vision for a buggy to.
And this part in particular is problematic because it can follow the white line coming down, but once the white line disappears with the turn there, it now has to figure out a new way to maneuver. And especially to come across the street, it's got the yellow lines in the middle, it's got the white line on the other side. Although the part it's reaching now doesn't have a white line, so it may not be able to follow that. But it does look to be back on path, although slowing down.
Slowing down, a little bit of wiggle right there in the free roll, but staying on line.
But we've got our Hill 2.5 pusher here. Well stationed, knew exactly where to be for that pickup. and now the buggy might be gone.
Wow, Quasar, Robo Quasar.
And I'd like to point out the underglow that they have added to Quasar.
Oh, that is very nice.
I know, isn't it nice?
Wait,
this part. Oh, okay. Stop. Slowing down at the stop sign. Following traffic
rules. That's good. It's too smart. The machines are too smart.
Okay, let's see if Atlas is able to avoid this hay bale.
It'll be interesting to see if the two buggies have similar problems, and to see maybe that's something with how the coating works. Although it looks like it cleared that hay bale just fine.
All right, here we come. A little bit of wobble. Taking it a little tight, but close to the hay bales. Not a bad line, actually. And looks like it's clean through the chute. Oh, maybe. Yeah, looking good.
And was that a face that I saw on the front of the buggy? I don't know if, Ilan, if you saw that from up where you are, but
I didn't catch it.
It looked like there may actually be a face either drawn on or something inside the windshield. Oh, maybe
It may just be the front wheel.
It may just
and
be
the inner windshield.
Well, it looked like a face
No,
to me.
it kind of looks like behind the glass. I see a couple eyes. I'm pretty sure. We have a little bit of a higher res view here up in the booth, and
depends on this angle right here. It really looks like there's a face, but it may just be the equipment and the way it's set up in there.
And going now here from 3
we're
to 4.
on a Hill 4 and 4:24, so this could be the new record-setting time.
Yeah,
for
this is
robotic
actually
buggy.
going to be pretty close between the two squads. 4:35 here in this Hill 4. Again, just going through some exhibition heats Be getting underway at about 10 a.m. with the first women's action out here. Transition from 4 to 5. We're at 4:49, so it looks like Robo Buggy probably will be keeping the course record for an autonomous buggy, unless they put a pretty magnificent Hill 5 time up here. But let's see, 5:03. They're actually trucking pretty good on Hill 5
Wasn't their
right
time
there.
6 minutes?
Yeah, the first one was 6 minutes.
Oh, I
so
thought
this
it was
is gonna-
5:08.
No,
Oh,
it was
wow.
6.
Gee whiz, it's early.
So this is going to blow out the course record.
Yeah. Wow. 5:15:48.
45 seconds.
Atlas. A new course record by a minute. My word.
And the other important course record, only one crash on that roll.
Correct.
A very congratulations to the Atlas group there with another great roll. Yeah, we'll have to see if they are successful in their drop test attempt.
Let's see here. Atlas coming through. Congratulations to both CIA and Robo Club. Pretty impressive to have both of these up and running.
And the other benefit to a robotic buggy is obviously like we saw a couple of crashes with them today, and they can just keep going.
Yeah.
The weather here is a little worse than it was yesterday. It's a lot colder this morning.
Yeah.
And it also rained a little heavier, I think, overnight. So the roads are still have been drying out a little bit. But having the robotic buggies kind of make a test run through the course, make sure everything's okay. And it looks like, the roads seem to be drying out pretty well right now. But an hour ago they were still pretty wet.
Pretty wet. And it's looking. We're probably only going to get up to a high of 50 today. So. If you're listening at home, you can leave the tank tops there. Probably going to be a bit chillier and cloudier today.
Looks like Robo Quasar on the line for drops. There it comes, staying in the straight line. And no!
Oh, not quite.
I
Interesting
enjoy
to
that
see
they
that
painted
did
a
use
sad face on the
Interesting
wall.
to see they did use a flag that time, so maybe they're actually sensing that.
It's still going.
And I believe the back axle of the buggy may not be perfectly symmetrical or perpendicular to the ground, but it's pretty close.
So yeah, Quasar has always had back axle issues. That was one of the reasons she was retired and came back. They reconfigured that back axle. It was originally, if you look at the back of it, a dropping push bar buggy. But with the way the axle was placed, it ended up being a very small buggy. And so it was hard to find drivers for it. And when we did find drivers for it, the axle hit right at your knees. Ooh. And so it made for a very uncomfortable driving experience.
I would imagine so.
So they're taking it back now. So up next, we're going to have some exhibition heats. I'm not sure how quickly they're going to be starting, but on our schedule, we have the first exhibition heat. Oh, we got a 9:28 start time. It's currently 9:16. And our first exhibition heat will be SDC and Fringe. My notes are that they are students.
Yes, it's going to be so there are going to be 4 exhibition heats today. We had a couple canceled because of the delay, but there's going to be 2 student teams and then 2 alumni, or two student exhibition heats and 2 alumni exhibition heats.
So yeah, so we'll have a student exhibition heat with SDC and Fringe, like I mentioned. We'll have a Spirit against Spirit team,
which is actually a men's team against a women's team.
Oh my heavens! Okay.
So we'll see who really is the king and queen of the hill here.
And then on alumni teams, we have 2 CIA teams going with an Apex team, and I believe Connor Hayes, who commentated the women's heats yesterday, and who will be back to commentate the women's heats today.
He'll be doing Hill 5, I believe, for Apex, so he'll probably run from Hill 5 straight to the broadcast booth.
Wonderful. And then we have a grudge match as the final exhibition heat, which will feature Fringe, SDC, and SIGEP, and that's also alumni.
And I believe one of the two CIA teams is actually Carnegie Mellon faculty who may have been members of CIA back in the day.
I think that's true. I think that's true. That's what I've heard through the grapevine.
Yeah, so don't know if that's 100% true. Unlike the actual race day heats, we don't get rosters or buggies or any information
So
about
we're just
exhibitions.
going to have to call it like we see it.
Exactly. But to be honest, that's one of the great things about Buggy and why I love the second race day. Exhibitions don't always happen. Obviously, they're the first things to get canceled.
Yes, and as we see, we've already canceled 3 exhibitions for the day.
But exhibitions are really a chance for alumni or students, a team like yesterday we saw like CIA D team is often, on the women's side it may be drivers, on the men's side it may be mechanics. A lot of teams don't have enough people to field a fourth, not really competitive, more fun buggy. They get that chance on Saturday at exhibitions. So I think the first heat is going to be a mix of mechanics, drivers, and people who wouldn't normally get to push, but get that chance on this day. It also gives alumni who are coming back, who are part of an organization, kind of a chance to still be a part of it. And one of the other great things is they are timed, but and you do go up against people, but obviously you're not aiming for the most part, you're not really aiming for some time or anything like that. It's just a chance to have some fun. So although all the safety rules of Buggy apply, some of the roster construction things do not necessarily. We for men's and women's, we'll have a hill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, like we saw with the Robo Buggies, you may have a hill 1, 1.5, 1 3/4, 2. If you have 15 alumni who want to come back and you have one exhibition heat, you're going to get all 15 to push, and you're going to find a spot for them to go.
Right. And you got to think, there's, these students train for all year. They're waking up, pretty much as soon as school starts until whenever it snows.
Yep.
And then as soon as the snow melts until now, they're waking up, the chairman can get up at 3, 4 a.m.
Yep.
And so these exhibitions, while they don't really count, are a great way to show spirit of Buggy.
Exactly. And you'll get some fun ones too. You'll get all kinds of different people out there. You'll get people running uphill 1. We've had barefoot people. We've had people in flip-flops.
People smoking cigars.
People smoking cigars. We've had all sorts of different things. You have we've had the actual sweepstakes committee push buggies in the past for exhibition. I know one year we forced them to push camo.
Mm-hmm.
They put up, I believe, a 4:06 was their time.
That was a bet, wasn't it?
They were trying to beat sub 4 minutes.
Someone lost something.
I believe that may have been Andrew Hunt's when he was sweepstakes chair. He had thrown out some thing saying, oh yeah, he had assumed that sweepstakes could put up a solid time with any buggy. So AEPI took it upon themselves to give them camo and make it slow. And so sweepstakes fielded a team, and I think it obviously there's only 4 or so sweepstakes members, so they mixed in, I believe, Radio Club and maybe some faculty advisors and a couple of other people to try. They did not beat 4 minutes, but they got very, very close. So that was pretty impressive. But exhibitions are really a chance to just come out, have some fun. If you've ever been interested in pushing a buggy and you've ever been a member of any of these organizations, or even if you haven't, you could probably go up to one of these organizations if they have an extra role and be like, hey, do you mind if I give it a push or two? I remember one time, like I said, I picked up a buggy in the chute once, and it was an exhibition heat, and I got to the start of Hill 3, and I just could not go any further. So there was one guy standing on the sidewalk. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Can you take this? And I just shoved it and let him run with it for the rest of the hill.
If I've never been on a buggy team, but if anybody wants to let me push one, I've always wanted to. I'll wear a headset and broadcast. I can't make it up the hill walking, so we'll see what happens.
So it seems like we have a pretty good crowd gathering, despite the weather. The chute looked. Saturday crowd's always a little bit bigger because a lot of alumni who are local have to work, and so.
And Alon, I don't know if you can hear us, but how's the chute looking, condition-wise? Is it okay or?
It's okay. It's a little bit damp still, definitely, but I think in the next few half hours or so after the exhibitions, it'll probably be just fine for regular rolls.
Yeah, we got some eyes on the chute right there. You can
Yeah.
definitely see that kind of gradient there, especially kind of that first quarter looking pretty shiny. Maybe that's just how the sun is hitting it, but
And you can definitely see it drying out there,
Yeah.
which is nice. And we talked yesterday, and one of the things that teams will do, especially for finals, is treat their wheels, kind of heat them up, make it so they will roll as fast as they can, which is not great on damp roads. But for exhibitions, they're not going to do that. So and exhibition teams usually go a lot slower because it's older alumni pushing, and it's people who are not experienced doing this. So they should be able to make it just fine. But it'll be interesting to see as we get a little later in the day, and as it hopefully warms up a little bit, and the sun hopefully peaks out. We may be getting some faster times and some interesting racing as we go throughout the day.
oh yeah.
So I also want to mention immediately following the exhibition heats, there are going to be, well, not immediately following. There's about a 8-minute break. There are 2 sets of re-rolls from yesterday. So Pica C, their men's team, will be re-rolling. Siget B will be re-rolling. That's their women's team. And SDC and SDCC are rolling in the next heat. SDCB and SDCC are rolling in the next heat, and that's a re-roll. And if we remember from yesterday, it was very uncharacteristic of SDC to be late to the line. And so, as anticipated, they were granted a re-roll. There was discrepancy with how they were interpreting the clock that is down at the trucks.
Yeah, there was a timing issue down at the front, down at the truck area. So there was some miscommunication about when they had to actually be out of the truck and onto the course, which got corrected, and certainly after that heat got corrected and everything went fine. But for that heat, it caused a problem. So it's SDCB and SDCC women's are basically re-rolling the exact same heat that they were gonna do today. I know the Siget B re-roll was, I believe, Barracuda had not Barracuda, Beyonce. Beyonce had stopped, had slammed on the brakes, I believe.
She was avoiding a collision.
Yeah, she was avoiding a collision and had slammed on the brakes. So I think it happened somewhere off camera, so we never actually saw it. We
Yes.
just never saw her come around.
Come back through.
So according to the eyewitnesses, she actually hit the brakes and she spun.
okay.
So it didn't look good, but she just spun because she hit the brakes.
And obviously Beyonce rolled as the men's heat and rolled pretty well.
Yeah. And it was fine.
Buggy was all right. All right, just getting some notice. We're on an indefinite delay, just watching out for some rain and weather that may be passing through in the next couple minutes. I've just gotten word there. Just waiting to make sure that everything stays clear, or whether some of the elements come through. So we will keep everybody updated as there are anything that develops there. But right now we are on an indefinite hold.
Yeah, buggies don't have windshield wipers.
No.
So, and with your visibility already pretty limited,
Sorry.
you
I mean you've
can't
been
really roll in the
in
rain.
the driver's seat, so you're.
Well, if you've looked at the buggies on the course, there are 2 main configurations. There's what we call forward trike and what we call reverse trike. So in forward trike, it just looks like a regular tricycle. You have a wheel in front of your face. And then in reverse trike, you have a clear windshield because your front wheels are out to the side. And I drove a forward trike buggy, and when you drive a forward trike buggy, you have an inner windshield. So not only do you have your outer windshield that can fog, but you have an inner windshield so you don't get hit with rocks.
Wow.
I always wondered because camo was a standard trike, and I was wondering what that inner
Yeah,
like,
so you
shield
don't get hit
was.
with the rocks.
Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
I mean, some still make their way around. You get out of the buggy and there's like rocks in your hair. But
Also, thank you. Some very kind soul did bring me some antacids. I appreciate that. If only my whole life could just be me on a giant microphone to the world making demands. Let's see. We do have the lead truck back out, so we may not be in a holding pattern. My advice, as always, is probably, just stay off of the, main part of the course. Just to be safe right there. You never know when buggies may be coming up.
So just while we have a minute, maybe just to recap kind of day one, we saw a lot of records fall, including both the men's and women's course records. SDC-A with Malice on the men's side, just narrowly breaking the record by about 0.17 seconds, putting up a 2:02:32.
32, I think,
believe.
yeah.
And on the women's side, kind of blowing out the record by over 2 seconds, putting up a 2:23:39. The previous record was a 2:25:60.
All right, they're doing a driver's run just to check the course right here, so hopefully this delay will be over pretty shortly. But sorry to cut you off there, Brad.
Yeah, no, but I think in total there were 14 team records set yesterday, which I don't think we have official stats on that, but that's got to be some kind of record. The full list was SDC Women's A, Apex Women's A, Apex Women's C, although they've never rolled a C. They've never rolled a C team before. We're looking at the drivers. They've hopped in the lead and follow trucks, and they're going down to the chute area to check out the conditions. And here we can see the chute as well.
So there must have been, so it doesn't appear to be actively raining. There must have been concern either raised by some of the chairmen or some of the drivers that the chute might be just a little bit too wet to drive through. So they're down taking a look at it. If you look, all of the ladies are in the back of the truck looking at the course conditions.
And you see them stopping up at that crosswalk. I think that the white paint actually gets very slick in the wet.
Yeah, that was when the road got repaved, the bicycle lane was added, and that added a lot more lines on the road.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, just looking at the condition of the road now versus where we were even 20 minutes ago, it is definitely drying out, so hopefully this rain delay won't be very long.
Yeah, and I mean, you feel the wind, which on one hand isn't great because it's wind, but on the other hand is great. It does help you dry out there. You can see right there the drivers, excuse me, peeking out. It's a pretty big truck, so I wonder how many buggy drivers you can fit in the bed of that truck. It's small people, big truck.
So I'm seeing a question pop up asking whether re-rolls can remove a team that qualified yesterday. Yes, it can. So
Are you sure?
Actually, I heard that the re-roll time will stand as their final time instead.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
believe usually if re-rolls happen on day 1, it will replace someone from day 2, but you won't remove someone from day 2. So instead, like the SDC-B and SDC-C re-roll time will be their final time. So
Okay.
essentially
So they won't roll twice today.
No, essentially we'll have 12 finals. There will be 12 final times, although SDC-B and C. Yeah, so there. I mean, it is an all-women's heat. So essentially, there are going to be 6 women's heats.
Yeah.
Although one of them is technically a re-roll from yesterday, since they don't actually have times.
And that is technically what's in the rules. In the rules, it says that the re-rolls are supposed to happen on day 2. It's just that historically, if you have time to do it on day 1, you might as well, and then only do the final heats on day 2.
Yeah, so just getting some word from Elon there. I don't know if Shoot Mike is on the overall broadcast right there, but just reiterating there, that's what's in the official rules. So, we already making history by having 10 women's teams on day 2. Now we're really making history with
Because we have 12.
12 up from 8 historically, and it's great to see the growth of the sport in that way, where a lot of really good, really deep teams, and kind of to your point about all these records being broken, justifying that extension by so many squads going out there and putting up their best times ever.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lot of C and D teams.
Exactly.
And Fringe D, because they didn't DQ, they're now the
Exactly.
third team to never DQ. Was it their women's D team?
Yes, their women's D team is now the third. They're the third organization to have a D team complete a race without a DQ. So I think we only got through a few of the teams before, but just to again reiterate the list of records set yesterday. So it's SDC Women's A, Apex Women's A, Apex Women's C, which had never rolled a C team before, CIA Women's C, CIA Women's D, Fringe Women's C, Fringe Women's D, and like we just said, the first time for them rolling without a DQ. And then on the men's side, it was SDC Men's A, Apex Men's A, B, and C. So Apex set all team records this year. CIA Men's C, Fidelt Men's A, and SIGEP Men's C. So a lot of the lower tier team, like the CD teams setting records, which kind of shows that the depth that these teams have, that they're managing to put teams even on the lower ends that are putting up solid times.
Well, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but a faster time, even for a C and D team, that factors into when they get to pick their heats. So when you go to the heat selection meeting, the faster times from the year before, they're basically ranked in what order you get to choose. So you might have more choice if you get a faster time.
So we have the drivers made around the course. We'll see. Yeah, it looks like they're actually going back around.
Again.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they might be backing up.
Oh, yeah, that's how cars work. Wonder what they're talking about back there. You're staring down your competition. It looked pretty friendly there, though.
Sometimes it can be a little contentious on the driver walk.
Yeah.
Or the driver drive.
Right? You see them all, that's your enemy right there, seated across from you. But
yeah, and especially, before the race begins and every practice roll, well, especially on race day, you will actually all of the drivers walk the course, and when you'll walk the course with your heat, so all of the drivers in the same heat know what line the other one is expecting to take. But it becomes a little bit of a cat and mouse game because you're also trying to, you don't want to give away all of your secrets. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm taking this line because it's the best line. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship there while also trying to be safe and making sure everyone has a general idea of where they should expect to see other people on the course.
Well, and things can take you by surprise. One driver's assuming she's going to get to the top of the hill first, but that hill one has a particularly good day.
Yeah.
And so they don't get to the top of the hill first.
Exactly.
And then you're in a completely new situation.
Exactly, and that's why these drivers prepare for all year. Practice rolls start around mid-September and go till about Thanksgiving, and then pick up again around like early February and go till the week before race day.
And each driver's roll count is tallied.
Yep.
And they have to pass a pass test.
Yep.
So in a pass test, generally, 2 buggies from the same organization will go, and the buggy that starts second has to pass the first buggy that left hill 2. And they have to do that by the chute, by the time they get to the chute.
Yeah, there's a certain range.
Yes,
they
there's a window.
They can't pass too early or too late.
If they don't have a team that has 2 buggies, a team can go with them.
Yeah. And even now, like we have a chute camera here, and it looks the chute looks markedly drier than it was even 5 minutes ago. So
time lapse on that.
Well, there's a pretty good wind going, so
yeah. And here you can see very dry in spots. There's a little bit of wetness, but it should be drying up pretty well.
And I did see. It looks like we're still going through these exhibition heats. Pardon me. SDC and Fringe. Looked like I saw Fringe pushers potentially out there. So things still looking pretty on schedule here. Obviously, right, safety first. Yesterday, what really struck out to me, aside from, all these team records, the course records, was how clean and how safe and how well driven everything was.
Yeah, really, we only had, I think, one spin out, which was Spirit, which they almost controlled the spin, so it wasn't even, it ended up being a little too wide, and there was a little too much overcorrection, and they just barely missed. And really, other than that, there were a couple of close calls. Like we said, the SIGEP B driver had to hit the brakes on the women's side, but that's, you're designed to do that, to avoid that situation, and that's why they're getting a re-roll today. Buggy is often about safety first.
And, actually, we'll have 13 women's teams, because that SIGEP B is
you're right.
You're right,
women's team.
Wow. So we'll be seeing that coming up in re-rolls, but yesterday we thought maybe not the fastest course, maybe the weather was a bit an issue, and you break 14 records. So just shows you can't trust experts or fake news here over on WRCT 88.3 CMU TV, bringing you the Buggy coverage. Again, just in a little bit of a holding pattern, waiting for the course to dry. We did have earlier a couple exhibitions of particular note because they were self-driving buggies. Atlas from the CIA squad having the course record at like 5:15 or so. Robo Buggy completing the first ever lap of the course, a little over 6 minutes right there. But, now that we have human drivers, just waiting to make sure it's, completely operable by them.
And we would expect the times today to be a little faster than the times that the two Robo Buggies put up, and with a few fewer incidents, I would say, than they had on the course. But it was still an exciting moment, I think, in Buggy history, just to see these two buggies complete an autonomous role.
Well, and I think it kind of speaks to the fact that many people assume that if it's someone's first time seeing a buggy, their first question is always, is there a person in there?
Yeah.
And because they assume, people walking up from pit, people walking by in the park, they assume that there's no person inside because it does actually look quite small from a distance.
Yeah. Even up close, it looks pretty small.
Yeah, right.
And especially around the chute, as buggies will turn into the chute, if people seeing it for the first time, they'll be like, oh, how does it know to turn? Is it remote controlled? Or, we're like, no, there's a person inside.
There's a human.
There really actually is a very small, but a person who's actually doing the steering.
Like less, 100% person.
A person's a person, no matter how small.
Sorry. I'm the only. That killed me. Oh boy, it's early.
We put it on T-shirts once.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
all the drivers have
that's
one.
awesome. Thank you, Elon.
And we were talking before about how re-rolls on the second day don't, they wouldn't replace the teams that are in the finals. And part of that is just about fairness. A team like Apex C or Fidel A, where they ended up being a top 10 time based on the times yesterday, they've come out today. They've prepared this buggy and to get it to roll today. It takes a lot of effort to come out to buggy even one day than to come out on a Saturday, especially, if you have a roll, like you're getting people up, your pushers have to come out. This is a Saturday morning. It's a little chilly out today. If you're not doing this, maybe you don't want to come out today.
Right.
And then to have them come out, get this buggy ready, have the truck here, have the mechanics here, have the pushers here, have the driver here. People have to wake up early to do all of this. And then to say, well, this team that didn't get a full time yesterday rolled today, they rolled faster than you, oh, sorry, we're not going to let you roll. Like, there's kind of a fairness to it as well, just letting the people who actually came out to do this, do it.
Right. Kind of to go off of that, outside of just showing up, what sort of preparations do the teams do between day 1 and 2? Knowing you're in the finals, is there any review of like the previous races or anything like that, or what do they try and do to make sure they have a good final time?
So the chairmen have to go to a meeting where all the heats are decided for the next day. Teams will typically review all of the tapes that were generated the previous day, either from this CMU TV feed or their own team taping them. And they'll really take a look at those transitions. The pushers are going to look at their transitions and see what they can do better, particularly some of the Hill 3 pickups. And again, your course conditions are going to be different today. So they have to take a look at all of that. You have to make sure none of the buggies sustained any damage yesterday.
Yeah.
If they did, they had to be re-safetied by the safety chair.
Yeah. And even, a buggy like Beyonce yesterday who spun and hit the brakes, one of the things, a lot of the buggies, the way the brakes work is it basically just grinds one of the wheels to a halt, and that's why sometimes you'll see them spin a little bit or either do a 180 or kind of fishtail or something like that as they hit the brakes. It's because one of the wheels just comes to a complete stop, and it's friction that basically slows it to a halt. One of the things that'll happen with the wheel itself is you'll get what we call a flat spot. So a wheel that was completely round now, the more you do it, if you look at DTD a few years ago had a buggy, they called it Bethany, but they didn't have wheels anymore, so they were using the same wheels, and every time they would hit the brakes, would get another flat spot. So it ended up being basically a hexagon that they were rolling on, and you'd hear it as it go down, and it would just bounce the entire way. It was unfortunate for the driver because I have to imagine it's a very uncomfortable ride. But so another thing would be like making sure that, most of these teams have other wheels, so you're making sure you have the right wheels on. But even just doing that sort of preparation, and looking at a team yesterday like Malice, I know on the men's side, Mark yesterday in the shoot was talking about how it wasn't necessarily the cleanest shoot turn. And SDC, they've got cameras everywhere watching all of these things. They're studying, they're probably going frame by frame to figure out, okay, what slight tweaks can I make to shave another half second off this roll? Granted, they may not need to shave another half second off to win, but to set an even bigger course record.
Right.
That's something they would need to do.
Yeah, SDC certainly not ones to try and slow down or anything like that. They are going to be bringing it today. I mean, obviously with the road conditions may not, quite be able to get some of those top times today.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see course records today, just based on the temperature. It feels a little cold, and I don't think it's supposed to warm up all that much.
I think the high is 50.
Yeah. Whereas yesterday, by the end of the day, it was pretty close to 70. I would say it ended up being a very nice day yesterday, which is what Pittsburgh will do to you. They'll give you a weather report like, rain all day, and then it'll be sun, and then a day like today where we weren't expecting rain.
Yeah.
It rains overnight, and now we're stuck in a slight delay.
Yeah. So always bring a couple changes when you're flying in for Carnival.
And I love the when the TV feed shows all the dogs out here.
Yeah.
Dogs for some reason have a certain aversion to Buggy, where anytime, people during practice rolls, people will be out walking their dogs, and a Buggy will come down the free roll, and the dogs will go nuts. They will start barking. They will try to chase after it. I don't know what they think it is, but it's something that affects them. Like,
that's weird. I in my other life do announcing for Extreme Pogo Sticking because I only announce non-weird sports. And dogs hate pogo sticks. Like, they are absolutely, existentially threatened by pogo sticks. I guess buggies too, so...
Man, if you combine buggy and pogo sticking, dogs this would be like their absolute nightmare.
It wouldn't be good. But that's a good boy right there, or a good girl. I don't know. It's a good dog.
The one dog who never barks at rolls is Scotty Dog, the mascot who occasionally shows up at rolls, and I've hung out with it in the chute before.
Imagine Scotty might be out here today. I would put on the mascot outfit. It's a little chilly. It's probably a nice day to be in a giant fursuit.
Like, just looking around at the crowd here at the Hill 1-2 transition, I see balloon hats out here. I see a nice mix of people for early on this pretty cold morning. The original schedule didn't have the women's finals starting until about 10 o'clock. So, the people out here are the ones who are really committed to Buggy and want to see exhibitions, want to just hang out, or are obviously part of the teams.
Let's see, we got the lead car out there. Again, no word exactly when we'll be resuming. Course is looking pretty good, but, again, we have the luxury of having a lot of slack in the schedule today. So, don't want to put any team at a disadvantage of, having a little bit of water out there or whatnot. It can always cut some of the exhibitions. Looks like they're inspecting the chute right now, so just gonna, go over there, pass over that, make sure that looks good, and then we'll see. I think we're still probably on to have a couple of the exhibitions at least, I think, and then we'll get into women's finals, and then men's finals after that. If you're here, obviously you know. If you're not, cloudy day out. Probably about 40-something degrees, bit of wind. not ideal buggy conditions, but like you mentioned, Brian, people are out here. They're in their jackets. They're looking happy. They're looking alive for a 9:45 on the Saturday of Buggy, which is pretty great right there. We appreciate you guys joining us here up at the top of Tech and Frew Street. Again, this broadcast brought to you by WRCT 88.3 Pittsburgh, CMU TV. We'll be here guiding you through the races today as we go through the finals, see who's going to be the champion. And speaking of suits, we got the furry out there on a scooter.
Yep, shout out to Rika.
There you go. And so
She actually had a friend yesterday. I was over at Midway, and there were two of them walking around.
Oh, really?
I've seen her. I haven't seen the other
There's
one
a whole
before.
group in Pittsburgh.
Really?
yeah, Pittsburgh I actually think I mentioned this yesterday. We have, I believe, the nation's largest furry convention, 4th of July weekend, Anthrocon. And like, if you walk around downtown, like, you just see furries everywhere. It's kind of cool. I've never gone personally. Actually, pogo sticks. We had a pogo stick event one time the same weekend, and so like, if you just came through to Pittsburgh, you'd be like, "Who are these people?" I see dudes with extreme pogo sticks and furries, and I don't know why our population's declining, but yeah, Anthrocon, biggest furry convention I believe in the nation there.
And I have to say, CMU TV was kind enough to put up the current weather, which is 46 degrees with 6-mile-an-hour wind. I don't know where they're getting that wind information from. It feels a lot more than 6.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it through the mic. I can hear it through the headsets blowing, but the wind makes it feel a lot less than 46.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's looking pretty good to have a second day.
Yes.
And that's actually a great thing. The clouds are starting to
Yeah, I
there's
can
some
see-
blue sky
yeah.
over there. So it looks like this will pass, and it's a lot of years we don't get a second day.
Right.
There
Yeah,
was
we-
a whole stretch of time, I think 4 years or so,
I
where
was
you
gonna
didn't
say, yeah,
get
half
2 days of races.
the races
Yep.
I've announced, we've not had 2 days, and
And
it's
I think there was one year we had like 1.5 because
Yeah.
we got through a women's prelims, but we
But
didn't
then we
make
didn't
it
get
through
through
men's.
men's.
yeah.
But really, like, yeah, we had like a 5-year stretch or so there where
Yeah.
we just didn't have 2 days. We've been lucky, I think, the last couple of years to have 2, and
Yeah.
it looks like we should be getting a full 2 in today.
Well, I think we're fine. It looks like no rain in the forecast. It's just, letting the course get dry enough. And the permits go, till 1:30 p.m. So we got plenty of time to get these heats through, and get these finals underway.
And certainly CMU TV is doing a great job here showing the different sections of the course and the conditions of each. And all of them look like they're drying out pretty well and are probably even drier than we started at yesterday.
Yeah.
And obviously yesterday it dried up very quickly as well. And just, my visual inspection of the front hills, like they're completely dry. So the front hills seem to be the fastest to dry. The rest of the course, and probably the least important to be dry. Obviously, the free roll, where the buggy is completely on its own, being the most important. But here, you can also see some of the cracks in the road that have formed over the last couple of years. But it is definitely drying out. And I think Aaron had mentioned before. I think the biggest concern is just this white paint. When they repainted the roads after paving it a couple of years ago, because the paint can get a little slick when it holds the water, but based on where the paint is and the road condition around it, it looks pretty dry now.
Yeah, that free roll's looking really nice right now. I think we'll need to see in the chute. That was looking, worst of everything there. Trying to see, we have. Oh yeah, thank you. See,
Yeah, and it's much drier now
Yeah,
than it
you
was
can
before.
see
You can see
even-
like a clear path all the way through.
5-10 minutes, a big difference.
Yeah, we should be good to go in a few minutes here. We may not have these exhibition heats because they were already running pretty tight gun to gun.
But I imagine we'll be getting an update from that soon, and as soon as we know anything, we will pass the word on to those watching around the course and at home.
See, maybe we take a quick break here while we're waiting for things to get set right there. let the tunesmiths at WRCT put some music on for y'all, and then we'll hop back on when we have word about things resuming. Yeah, it's chilly. I have a coat in my car. I'm stupid to not bring it. Yeah, I'm fine. Just need some
Yeah, I know, but it's like.
The particular part that is hard about that.
Connor, can you throw your head? Gotcha. All right. We can just trivia. We're probably going to go live at 10:10 and just do 5 minutes of intro. So we can do a couple minutes of trivia. That's fine.
We should do intros. We had requests the other day to do intros.
All right. By the way, number 1 is now Connor Hayes. All right. Sorry, can we go live? All right. We're going to be getting underway again here at 10:15. Some quick trivia here brought to you by CMU TV. You guys can try out your hand at this. First question here: from 1983 to 1985, a B team held the men's course record. Which organization's B team set that record? Is it A, Spirit, B, SDC, C, Pica, or D, Beta? Use that code up there and text your answer to 22333. I'm not sure what you win if you get it right, if you win anything, but participate in some trivia. All right. Again, race getting underway here at 10:15. Got some trivia up there. Wow, thank you all for joining us here on this chilly morning, finals of sweepstakes. I am Will Weiner, joined here by Aaron May, Connor Hayes, Elon Bauer down in the chute. Very excited to bring you this women's finals action here, race day 2017. Aaron, how are you feeling today?
Pretty good.
What are your
Excited.
thoughts on what we're seeing here? Obviously, we saw some records yesterday. What else are some big storylines to look forward to coming into today?
Well, I of course am watching CIA. I'm excited for how they'll do. I would like them to get a trophy. But the competition for the top spots is going to be pretty close, both in men's and in women's. Looking at those times, we have some pretty tight times.
Yeah, if you look, there's kind of a log jam at the top. SDCA obviously kind of far ahead of competition, but then 2, 3, 4. Pike A at a 2:32.46. Great day for them yesterday. SDCB 2 seconds behind. CIA essentially 2 seconds behind them as well. Very tight up there. Connor, what are you looking for going into these races here?
Well, one thing I am looking at up on the BAA website, it is listing Apex A as failing drops. It was actually the B team that failed drops, so Apex A is going to be rolling today, not Apex's B team. Their C team will be rolling as well. But looking at the top times, obviously SDC, they're going to go and try to break their record again today. It's going to be very difficult with the cold weather, the cold roads. Pike A yesterday put up an amazing time. We were very excited to see them coming back into competition when they've been just, fiddling around that third, fourth place the last couple of years. But what I'm looking at today is, can CIA step back ahead of SDCB? Can they step ahead of Pike A? They did have some transitions yesterday that could have been picked up better. Their Hill 3 pickup definitely could have been better. That was probably one of the weaker ones of the A teams yesterday. And does Fringe A have anything today to improve on their time? We were kind of surprised at how slow they were compared to what we were expecting going in.
I think universally we could see Hill 3 pickups improve today. I'm hoping that the Butchers went back and took a look at the video. And so I think that could help them pick up some time and save some speed coming into Hill 3 and into Hill 4.
The only thing that could throw them off today with the colder roads, with the slower free rolls that we're expecting today, they will not have as good of a rollout as they had yesterday. So if a Hill 3 pusher overcompensates, we could see them actually having to slow down to get to the buggy today rather than running after a buggy that flew past them.
We're looking at about like 4 minutes until the start of the next heat.
Also, we have our buddy Elon down in the chute. I know that's really the cause for this delay. They've been down there with leaf blowers. What's the chute looking like for you, Elon?
It's looking way better than it was this morning. Yeah, we had some leaf blowers down here fixing up the last wet spots. I would say it looks totally dry to me.
Very good. So we're going to be getting underway first with a couple of re-rolls. We're going to actually have a mixed gender roll right here to start. So we have Pika C on the men's side and Sig Ep B on the women's side. Again, to rehash, yesterday, if because of, some sort of safety concerns, whatnot, teams get to re-roll for today. The way it works, someone was asking earlier, if a team gets a qualifying score on a re-roll, do they bump someone out of the finals? No, that's not the case. What we are going to end up doing essentially is all their times qualify. So in fact, with these 2 re-rolls, we're actually going to have 13 women's teams rolling today. The top 6 of them are going to get trophies. Then on the men's side, Pika C, the only re-roll there. So we'll have 11 squads. And again, the top 6 there get trophies. Just probably about 3 minutes or so until we're getting underway. Pika C, men, Sigap B on this re-roll. But again, they won't be rolling twice, so this is their final time for the race for the day. Sigap B rolling that wonderful, wonderful buggy, Beyonce, their new build, which is big fan of Beyonce Knowles, the music, the buggy, etc. So
if you're down in the chute now, you may want to go to the outside before the race starts. If you are on the outside of the chute rather than on the inside, you're going to get a first-hand view at a large mural painted on the side of Queen Bee there. So definitely don't want to miss that. Make sure that you are on the far side if you are on Hill 1 so that you can see that, and on the side of the Jumbotron down in the chute.
and looks like the team's getting in formation here, getting ready for things to kick off, get underway. Probably about 2 minutes here. Let's go ahead and introduce the rosters. First up in lane 2 is Sig Ep B. Again, they're going to be pushing Beyonce on hill 1, Ivana Vlahovic. On hill 2, Eunice Choi. On hill 3, Linda Yang. Hill 4, Margaret Williams. And hill 5, Angela Ng. The driver, Nazli Uzger. And we have in lane 1, Pika C on the men's side. And for some reason, my
1 minute
roster is not pulling that up. But let me try and find their names. 1 minute until this goes. I apologize, Pika C.
Pika Men C? I got it.
Oh, sweet. All right, and Pika Men C. On hill 1, Charlie Aguilar. Hill 2, TJ Murray. Hill 3, John Sicasio. Hill 4, Duck Krasuki. Hill 5, Rob Levin. And the driver, Sarah Lim. They're pushing Raptor. We see B coming out, Queen B coming out there.
Hill 4 is not that one. Hill 4 got changed.
So we're looking here. It looks like Pika is not going to make it out to the race.
Looks like Pika's not going to make their re-roll.
Pika fell way short of making that.
Yeah. So, as it is in real life, Beyonce all alone there, class of her own. Get pushed up there. And Sigap B, they looked all right, coming up in the top hills yesterday. You think they may be able to get one of those top 6 slots with the time here?
I don't think they'll be able to get into top 6. They could find their way up into the top 10. They were just behind Apex's B team yesterday, did have to hit the brakes. And Apex's B team was right about that 10th place time.
So we'll take a look there. Coming through pretty clean into the free roll. Again, if you may not be too familiar with Buggy, do appreciate you being out here just to kind of give a quick explanation of what the heck is happening here in case you just walked off the street. This is essentially a wild relay race. There's actually a person inside the buggy driving right there. This free roll, they're going
107 at the stop sign.
107 at the stop sign, probably 20-some miles an hour right now, driving along as they come through the chute here, and then we'll come to the back hills. Elon, what do we see in the chute?
Well, the chute is the big turn of the whole course, and the part where they're going the fastest, so it's always interesting to watch. But it looks like a nice smooth turn for Beyonce there. Nice mural.
Very clean right there. And this is where they get picked up on the back end. They call these hills, but kind of as we were saying yesterday, there's not a ton of elevation. It's just kind of straight line.
Yeah.
You get to blast this buggy, and pretty nice pickup there.
And that was a very good free roll time for them. They were in about 59 to 1 minute free roll, which for a women's B time is very competitive.
Yeah, this is looking like a great roll.
Little sloppy there from the 3 to the 4. Not the best momentum from the 4 right there, but let's take a look, see how things are able to wrap up here. Again, re-rolls from yesterday. Beyonce had to stop due to a pass there.
But looking very competitive here. Coming up on a 216, coming up right near the Hill 4 transition to Hill 5.
We go 4 to 5, pushes off as we get to 226 right there. Looking maybe around a 250 time or so.
250, 255. That'll be a very good time. Probably will put them just outside of the top 10.
Yeah. Fringe C, who came in 10th at a 256.28.
Though I have to say, Beyonce looking at us there, I think it makes all of us feel a little special to have Beyonce out on the course.
And again, you want to put up a time because then this factors into next year's races.
So coming across right here, getting near that finish line. Oh no! Did not have the hands on the push bar. Another important note here, that push bar at the back of the buggy, you have to have your hands making contact as you cross that finish line. If you do not, it's a disqualification there. And we have the Hill 5 pusher on the ground right there, Angela Ng. getting her checked out there, making sure she's all right. You can see there in slow-mo just diving to make it there, hoping she's all right. We do appreciate our friends at EMS, Campus EMS, helping out, being on hand with everything there.
And Angela, that was a great effort to make a dive there for that push bar. I know that all of the team members always appreciate when the Hill 5 pusher works all the way to the end and tries just to the last minute to get that push bar.
And it happens. And I know people who may not know Buggy as well, who might be watching, and the Buggy can get away from you. Hill 5 is flat, and you give it one good push, and you just can't catch up with it.
Especially a Buggy like Beyonce, it seems to actually be rolling very, very well for them. It seemed very solid yesterday, put up a very competitive time today. And SIGAP always has good rolling buggies, fast wheels. So if you give that Buggy just a little bit too much of a shove, it won't slow down. It'll keep going, and you're going to be running after it to try to catch up with that Buggy.
It's unfortunate, really, for both teams in that heat. SIGAP not able to get the hand on the push bar. Pika didn't make it out in time, so neither of their positions will improve for the day. We have one more re-roll before we get into the remainder of the races. We have SDCB and SDCC on the women's side going to be coming out here.
Now, this re-roll is a little bit controversial because yesterday SDC B and C team were in the same heat. They both were late to the line. Apparently, there was some issues down at Hill 1 with the timer changing midway through the day when they started their 10-second countdown. But there was definitely some conversations yesterday after the races. They have a chairman's meeting with all of the chairmen of all of these buggy teams to discuss re-rolls. And there was a 10-second, 5-second violation in the two heats before SDC. The next heat, every team made it to the line without any issues, and then there was a delay, and then SDC did miss it. So some teams were a little bit upset that they were given that re-roll, but they are going to be re-rolling today. They are going to be fighting for trophies, and I do expect SDCB at minimum to get a trophy, and possibly SDCC as well today.
So we'll be taking a look at it there. As we said, uncharacteristic for SDC to be late there. And Connor, you mentioned that 5-second violation. Just to explain a little more about that rule, you have to have all your mechanics, the folks carrying out the buggy, cleared off of the course 5 seconds before the race begins. If they're in that proximity, it's a disqualification. Let's go ahead and introduce the teams. First up in lane 2, SDCC going to be pushing Avarice. On Hill 1, Alex Cerny. On Hill 2, Caitlin Smith. On Hill 3, Sophia Angel. On Hill 4, Fiora Fang. And Hill 5, Madeline Anderson. The driver, Elizabeth G. And in lane 1, SDCB pushing Bane. Hill 1, Cameron Pitts. Hill 2, Mary St. John. Hill 3, Kajay Jones. Hill 4, Jennifer Bone. And Hill 5, Laurel Perea.
And it'll be interesting to see. So we do have times for both teams from yesterday. It's just that the start was disputed. So it'll be interesting to see if SDCB can go faster than 2:34.53, and if SDCC can beat their 2:43.64. Again, these are unofficial times from yesterday because it was a DQ.
Yes.
But it'd be interesting.
Now, and SDCB had the third fastest time yesterday. Road's not quite as good today, so it'll be interesting to see if they lose or gain anything on that. Because ultimately that can really, kind of change things, that final standing. They were, again, in third place, less than half a second slower with CIAA.
Yeah. The most impressive thing about those times is they started pushing the buggies probably about 3 seconds after the gun went off. So all of those times were about 3 seconds faster than what the final time was.
The buggies on the course right there.
There they go.
Clearly off in those 5 seconds. And here we go, SDCB, SDCC. Here in the Hill 1, you can see the B team separating themselves fairly well. SDC, just so much depth.
Now we see them coming up here on the Hill 1-2 transition. 21.5 for SDCB and about a 22.5 for SDCC. 22.5 is what most teams have for their A team. SDC is doing that on their C team, showing off their depth. And both girls have sent the buggies down into the course. Very good shove-offs.
Yeah,
very early,
smooth
very
transition.
straight.
And a little bit of lag between, but it's interesting, even just watching the form of the pushers. Very similar release points. SDC, well-oiled machine. Just, they know what they're doing, and they go out there and they execute. Yesterday, 2 course records, one for men's, one for women's.
Stop sign of 102 for SDCB.
And 105. To look back at SIGEP B, who went at 255, they were there at a 108. So they are about 6 seconds ahead on the B team, about 4 on the C team.
Here we come in the chute. Elon, what do we see?
Look nice and clean. A little bit of wobble, but nice and tight. And both of them through just fine.
You can hear that kind of clunk there, that kind of bumpy spot, right, as teams going in the chute, but not too much of a problem. Here into the transition.
And that was a great Hill 3 pickup on SDCB and C.
Now, when you hear that clack as the buggy goes through the chute turn, we like to call that the SDC battle rattle. And they have this distinct characteristic. When they hit any little bump in the road, they have this clack, but you can hear when the whatever is hitting in there, it's usually very, very tight, and it just shows how well built these buggies are.
Great transition there from 3 to 4, now going to 4 to 5, and this B team is flying right here.
With a 23-24 second Hill 5, which is entirely possible, they're going to look to go sub 230 on their B team, and there's only 3 teams in history that have ever gone sub 230 and never a B team.
Yesterday we had 14 team records broken. And maybe close for this one here. I'll try and see what the record is for SDCB. We're at 231, crossing right there.
232.82.
So that shaved 2 seconds off of their time from yesterday. Would be just slightly slower than Pika yesterday. And the C team at 242.45. So they're shaving a second off. Yeah.
Well.
Which I guess maybe the late start, you have that. But, you know, given the course conditions, a little colder, a little bit windier, really nice race from both squads there.
Absolutely. Great times from both teams.
Great way to start the race day.
Absolutely.
And, you know, something that was great to see yesterday and, you know, good to see so far today was a lot of safe, clean driving. You know, last year they finally repaved some of the roads, which made things clean. Looked a little worse this year. We weren't quite sure, you know, how that was going to play out. But, you know, knock on wood, it continues today. Just incredibly well done by all the teams. You love to see that with teams finishing, teams not spinning out. And even when they did spin out with Spirit last year, it was, all things considered, yesterday, all things considered, pretty clean, pretty safe, pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're seeing here on the drop test, Bane just passed with absolutely 0 problems, and we expect Avarice to probably do the same. So we'll watch this here and see how she performs.
And the drop test, you know, for those of you joining us not as familiar with Buggy, this is a procedure that happens after the race to test and make sure the brakes are functional in the buggy. So essentially they go between those lines, are asked to stop kind of at the wave of a flag there, just to make sure the braking system is in place, you know, to make sure there is no tomfoolery going on out there back in the Wild West days of Buggy, way back when you may have had disabled brakes and such to get a little bit of a competitive advantage.
And the other thing you'll see there too is the driver has to release the brakes and then reapply the brakes twice to make sure that the brakes not only work in stopping the buggy, but if she had to release the brakes during a race, she would be able to reuse them again later if there was another accident.
On race day, these drivers do this post-race, but before practices, they do it before practicing.
Getting set here for the first official heat. We are done with re-rolls Although, imagine SDCB going to have a time, definitely top 5. We'll see if they can take that second or third spot, maybe even with that time, depending on how things shake out.
As we mentioned during our earlier broadcast, those will be their final times. They will not compete with the rest of the women's teams in the finals. They aren't going to boot out teams that are already listed in the top 10.
So the only disadvantage that they'll have from rolling earlier in the day is with the colder roads. They won't retain as much heat in the wheels. The free roll may be a little bit slower than it would have been had they rolled later in the day. But with the times that they just put up there, I can't see SDCB falling out of a trophy position, and SDCC is really right there on the cusp of getting a trophy, putting up against ahead of a lot of A teams with that time.
Definitely.
And we'll be looking at a couple of A teams up here next in this first official heat of finals. SIGEP A and Fidelt A. Pretty impressive to see Fidelt on day 2.
Yeah.
For a fraternity in their 4th year.
This is only their 3rd year rolling.
3rd year doing buggy. Yeah.
And this is their first time ever with their own buggy, which came out very late in the year. They haven't had a lot of time to really perfect it and get the maximum amount of speed out of the buggy. They were able to qualify. This is the first time this fraternity is making day 2 with their women's team, which I think that is a great thing. It shows that any team can come out here and compete on both men's and women's side. For a fraternity to be able to recruit pushers and compete on the women's side is really, really awesome to see. And I'm very happy that fraternities are putting more effort into their women's teams, where in the past the women's teams were just kind of a toss-in to hopefully pull another trophy in for the house. This shows that fraternities are really pushing their women's teams.
Yeah,
well, and this speaks to the tradition of buggy at CMU. This was originally a Greek sport. The independence didn't come around until 1970 or so.
All right, we got 1 minute till the start of this race, so let's go ahead and get the rosters. First, in lane 2, Phi Delt A, they're pushing Argo. Hill 1, Catherine Bregna. Hill 2, Gurdry Singh. Hill 3, Victoria Fang. Hill 4, Linda Chen. And Hill 5, Samantha Trapani. The driver, Sarah Delutti. And in lane 1, we have Sig Ep A pushing Barracuda. Hill 1. Kraken, Aaron Fuller. Hill 2, Kristen Flint. Hill 3, Amy Pham. Hill 4, Grant Wilmer. And Hill 5, Erica Huang. The driver is Sophie Halpern.
And it's great to see Sophie out again this year driving. Last year, if you remember, she had a very, very scary crash in Hydra, but is back up on the horse and rolling fast on their A team.
They actually have them in lanes 1 and 3.
There we go.
I really like that start line camera that we have this year. We can see how quickly the teams get off the line. And this year, both of those pushers were just a half second after the beep going, so they'll slow them down just a little bit.
SIGEP A coming into today was in 6th place at 2:42.38. But it was very close, kind of within that range. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold on, get a trophy.
I had both girls about a 23-second over the top of the hill there, so right about where SDC's C team was.
You can see SIGEP a little bit of a lead out there.
Very late push off there, slows the buggy down a bit. And you can see Argo catching up now because she pushed off a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and Fidel looking pretty good up on that first hill, really. Not a ton of separation. It's getting a little bit larger of a lead now going into the free roll. I think just that with, SIGEP's buggy technology, they're able to kind of extend a lead right there.
Absolutely. Kraken's shown its speed over the last couple of years. It's been rolling A team for them for quite some time and is very quick.
107 on the stop sign time. These guys come into the chute.
A very solid 110, 111 from Fidel, but that SIGEP time is right about where their B team was.
Elon, what are we seeing down there?
Looks nice and good. Do the transition flag. Good line. That little bump, but nice and clean. Good driving by both teams.
Really pretty nice line by Fidel there. That was clean looking. Transition here into Hill 3, SIGEP A, picking it up pretty high there.
And a great pickup from Fidel a little lower down the hill.
Nice roll out there. We get the 3 into the 4 transition right there.
They did a very interesting thing on their transition, but it worked out for them. The pusher was running behind the other one, but as the pusher got out of the way, she was right on the buggy, full speed.
Did she make the line, though?
It looked like it was
It looked like she
was in
made the
line.
line. She started so far back. I thought maybe she didn't, but it was just because she started so far back. And, pretty nice time coming out here of SIGEP A. Erica Huang, the Hill 5, going to get this transition at about a 2:20. Again, their time yesterday at 2:42.38.
They're looking slightly faster than
Looks
yesterday.
like they could do it. Yeah, they can do a little bit faster.
Probably in like that 2:40, 2:39 range.
Let's see right here. We're at 2:35. Trying to get over that line. Again, hand got to be on the push bar. Erica putting her everything into this. Trying to get across right there. Hand on there at 2:43.53.
I guess Sarah and I spoke a little too soon there.
We
They were
did
just
speak a little too soon.
just a little slower than yesterday, unfortunately.
And Fidelt yesterday rolled a 3:08. They're looking to probably take some significant time off of that. Let's see if they can make it in a sub-3.
Should be just over 3, but probably in like that 3:04, 3:05 range. Would be an organization record for them at that 3:04 time.
Yeah, 3:04.56. So, first year rolling women's, is that correct? Or
They
no?
rolled women's the last 2 years. Their first year was they had to hit the brakes. The buggy was very slow through the chute. It was about a 5-minute time. So it wasn't really a good show-off for them. But the next year they came back. They were in the low 3s, and now they've cut even more time off and are rolling here on day 2, which for that house is awesome with their brand-new buggy rolling on day 2. We really are excited to see a new team on the course that is already 3 years in competing for second day, and hopefully they'll just continue to build, continue to learn, and continue to grow the house.
SIGEP losing a little bit of time from yesterday. We see him going here in the drop test. Again, you see that kind of flag right there. They have to stop right after it. Looks pretty good there. Sun starting to peek out here. Again, we started a little bit late today due to some of the weather out here, but looking to be an okay day.
Looking to be a very good day. I think it's going to be a little bit colder than yesterday. I think the high today is about 55 degrees. Yesterday we probably got up to about 70 by the end of the men's races. So the roads will definitely be colder, but so far it's not really slowing the teams down. We've seen a mixed bag. Some teams faster, some teams slower. And I think that the course conditions are fairly similar to yesterday's morning races for the women. So we may see a bigger difference on the men's later because the roads were significantly warmer by the men's races yesterday.
Coming up next, we have Fringe A, Apex C going to be coming through here. Fringe A had a 2:41.21. They're about a second faster than SIGEP A yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see, whether they can repeat that type of time, try and stay in that top 6. Any observations in terms of them, what we might see from Fringe A in this race?
I would like to see, I'm hoping to see a slightly faster hill 1 time. I think that was the big difference for them yesterday. The rest of their hills looked very solid. The hill 1 seemed to be a little bit slower and really was not able to separate herself from the Apex C team, which I believe they raced yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So I expect them to see that. I also am expecting a little bit more speed out of the buggy. I felt like they were a little slow yesterday. Maybe they were taking it somewhat conservative for the first day, make sure they qualify for day 2, and then come back here with a faster time for the second day.
And it was, pretty tight up at the top of that leaderboard there in kind of that 5, 6, 7 area. Fringe A had a 2:41.21. SIGEP A had a 2:42.38. SDCC had a 2:43.64. If we look at the heat times, for today, trying to get that SDCC time. SDCC improved to a 2:42.32. SIGEP A was a 2:43.47. So, Fringe, if they want to stay in that top 6, may need to cut a second or 2 off of their time, stay competitive there with SDCC.
Yeah, if we see some competitive times out of these teams coming up later today, faster times than yesterday, Fringe will definitely need to cut time to stay in this.
SDCB, pretty clearly top spot right here, 2:32.80 officially on the leaderboard right there. Comparing that to yesterday's Pika A time. Pika A was a 2:32.46. So it'll be interesting to see if Pica can, put together a good roll coming up soon and hold on to that 2 spot. Would be a great accomplishment for them in sort of this resurgent year where they had, second places on both teams coming in after, everything that happened last year, the whole fish club type of stuff. Nice to see them coming out and, looking strong after what's been somewhat tumultuous decade, kind of for Pica, ever since this ascendance of SDC.
And they also had an issue where they were, on probation on campus. They lost their house down on the Greek Quad. It's been very rough for them since about 2010. 2011 in the fall, they were not even allowed to roll. There was some conversation that Pica would never be back here on the course. So, luckily for the sport, we need teams like that. We need dedicated teams who come out, roll multiple teams, and are willing to get everybody out in the morning and keep this field full.
So let's go ahead and introduce these squads, though. We do have Fringe and Apex here. In lane 3, we're going to have Apex C. Hill 1, Marissa Schwartz. Hill 2, Grace Kim. Hill 3, Christine Rooney. Hill 4, Asha Mohandas. And Hill 5, Celine Lee. They're pushing Phoenix, and the driver is Tiffany Kai. We're on a quick 2-minute delay. I guess a moving truck going on the course there. In lane 1, though, we're going to have Fringe A. They're going to be pushing Blue Shift. On Hill 1, they have Gia Oi. Hill 2, Sarah Tracy. Hill 3, Nadia Florman. Hill 4, Maddie Long. And Hill 5, Michaela Vicino. The driver, Amy Chen.
Michaela on Hill 5 is one of the fastest Hill 5 pushers out here, and I expect her to put up a great time as she always does. So we're going to watch as they come in where they are on that Hill 5. Expect her to probably be in that 24 to 25 second range. She has gone faster than that, so we'll stay conservative for now because we were a little jumping the gun earlier, but we'll make sure that to keep an eye on her and see where they're at when they come into that Hill 5.
It is great to see the sun out, though, and that'll probably be helping out these teams as we go forward. Hopefully the clouds stay away. Impressive also, Apex, your baby, rolling out a C team on day 2 on the women's side. That's I'm impressed by that.
And this is the first time that not only are they running a C team on women's, but this is the first time they've ever successfully rolled a B team for women's. They've been able to roll 2 women's teams that both put up very competitive times, and especially for a women's C team, to put up a time of, I believe they were about a 3:05, 3:06 yesterday, 3:02, so actually faster than I thought, on Phoenix. Phoenix right now may or may not be the heaviest buggy out on the course. We built it very strong to last for a long time. Did not take weight into consideration. So for a women's team to come out there and push that time on a buggy that is that heavy, I got to give them props. They're probably all very sore this morning.
And you push through the pain with all this. We're on a quick delay. I heard 4 minutes just here, so not quite exactly sure, but on a short 4-minute delay there. Ladies are sore, the guys are sore, everybody's a little sore. It doesn't matter, though. It's race day. These teams have been preparing all year long for this. It's an insane commitment required to be on a buggy team. I never did it. Both of you, I'm sure, can kind of elaborate, though, on, what it takes to get here for the 2 minutes today.
It takes a lot. It's hundreds, if not thousands of hours of work by many, many people to get to this point. It's not just the practices. You have the mechanics going in and maintaining the buggies every weekend. You have the pushers doing not only push practice, but they do their own workouts that are preparing them to push as fast as they can. This seems like an insignificant thing, but in order to have a buggy team, you have to have people. So you have to have social events. You have to keep everybody engaged with the team. CIA goes out and makes pancakes for people every Friday in front of Doherty Hall. And that, they recruit people that way.
I ate many a pancake from that stand.
That was, that was part of my meal plan for a few years there. But it's insane. I don't know how y'all did it. Like, you're balancing, a full CMU schedule with all this. You come out of Hunt Library, and for some reason, you see people out here at like 1 a.m. I don't know if it's 1 a.m., but like at some crazy
Usually
hour.
about between 3 and 4 for the most dedicated teams like SDC and CIA, and some of the smaller teams will come out more around like 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and fortunate perhaps for some of these teams that we do have a winter in Pittsburgh, because otherwise it'd be every weekend of.
Well, and I think every chairman has had the feeling of showing up at 3 or 4 in the morning and, kind of taking a seat on the curb and feeling like, why am I doing this? And then the rest of your team shows up and everything's okay. But you do there's not a whole lot of sleeping involved.
When it comes down to it with Buggy, and I think the main reason why all of us get involved and all of us get hooked is it's so unique. There's nowhere else in the world that this sport exists. The nearest thing is soapbox derby. They don't turn, they don't push, and they only roll one time a year, where we have practices, we have commitments to our team, and you build a team camaraderie. And anybody that's been on any sort of sport team can vouch for that when you're on a team, you make lifelong friends, people that you can consider family for the rest of your life. And in some cases, you actually do find your future family. Erin is one of the many members of CIA that has gotten married through someone they met at CIA, and actually he's up here in the booth with us right now.
And, something I like that you said right there, as you said, right, this is the only place this exists. I think CMU may very well be the only place this can exist, this amazing sort of marriage of tech and engineering and these incredible, design feats.
And athletes.
Mixed, with this athletics, this insane dedication to get out there at 3 a.m. It's kind of this weird, perfect storm of, dedication, passion, intensity that plays itself out, and we get to see it and enjoy it here on race day. And I just couldn't be happier to be bringing this to you here with the help of our friends at WRCT, help of our friends at CMU TV, Radio Club, EMS, all that stuff. Just under 2 minutes here before we get this heat underway. And how does that affect the teams with having that delay like that?
You're keyed up. I honestly never found it to be that big of an effect. The drivers are in the buggies. They're ready to go. With the wheel heating, it does present some issues.
It's going to be more of an issue for Fringe, I believe, than it is for Apex, knowing both of those teams. Apex on their C team doesn't tend to heat the wheels. The wheels kind of stay on the buggy at all times and aren't coming off, where Fringe is going to have to be getting those wheels prepped onto the buggy and ready to go. So they most likely had them on the buggy before the delay, and to take them off, reheat them, and now get them back on the buggy for the race.
And that delay was actually a clock delay. They were having issues with the clock display.
Under 30 seconds now until we get underway here with this women's heat. Again, Fringe A, Apex C. This the second of 5 women's heats.
And Fringe A is looking to put up a time of better than 2:41.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
Both teams off the line very quick.
And again, the time to beat the top time right now, SDCB 2:32.80, SDCC with a 2:42.32. Fringe A going to be trying to top that as they're here. And then this Hill 1, Apex C, looking fairly competitive up there through the start of this hill.
Absolutely, but Fringe definitely faster today. 22-second on Hill 1. That puts her right behind SDC as the fastest time we've seen on Hill 1 thus far today.
Hill 2 is really flying right there. Pretty nice high release. Gliding clean into the free roll.
I'd like to shout out to the Hill 2s because Hill 2s don't get to practice during push practice. So the only time you get to do a Hill 1-2 transition is either during rolls or on race day. So if they pull off a nice Hill 2, then they're doing a good job.
Absolutely. And I would like to point out on Fringe there, when she pushed the buggy, she pushed it early, which is good. It's what you want to do. The buggy wasn't quite going straight yet, so she didn't get the optimal push off. I think that is going to affect their free roll a little bit. We couldn't see how Apex pushed the buggy off, but at this point they're just out for the run and hopefully putting up a solid time, but likely out of the competition for a trophy.
103 and a half at that stop sign. That's probably looking somewhere in that 245 range.
And 107 for Apex C.
Put it in a clip here. Nice, tight, clean shoe turn there. Oh, almost took the bails, but nice clean. Good drive by Amy.
Apex 2 looking to get through there. A little bit of a wider line.
But the wider line didn't hurt her. She had a pretty good roll-up.
Yeah. Pretty high pickup right there by Fringe A in the Hill 3, so it had some nice momentum still rolling through there. Only a 4 shove Hill 3 going now on the transition to Hill 4.
Pushing off there into about a 148, so we expect them to probably get to about a 210 to a 220, somewhere in that range for the transition over to the Hill 5 pusher, Michaela.
Hill 4 is a rough hill. It's a long hill, and it's steep. Not steep by some people's definitions, but when you're pushing 100 pounds of buggy person, it feels pretty steep.
You notice the gradient then. Transition there to the 4 to the 5. It's 2:14 when she takes possession there. So this could be pretty close to that 2:40 time, actually.
I think she's going to be a little bit under her time from yesterday if she pushes up to about a 25-second Hill 5 standard. Looking very good here today. Cut a lot of time off, I think.
And here we go. Wow, very nice. Got to have that hand on the push bar and coming across it at 2:38.12.
All right.
So they dropped about 3 seconds.
Cut it down. Oh, my. Fringe A dropping 3 seconds day to day. And
Apex C is doing well as well.
I think they're going to come in under 3 minutes.
Yes.
Which is huge for them. Both teams cutting off a 2:56.22 for Apex C. They're cutting off 6 seconds there.
That's great.
6 seconds from yesterday is unbelievable.
Wow.
And they didn't sub any of those. Those are all the same pushers as yesterday. Those are all the same pushers as yesterday. So great job for that Apex Women's C team. Another, as we've been saying all weekend long, organization team record.
And that's another team record. I don't know. We could do some calm. Anyways, very nice race from both squads, cutting some time off. Fringe has to feel great with that, 2:38 time. That probably, if nothing else, assures them a 5 spot, I would imagine. Probably going to have a good shot at a trophy with that. Yesterday, there was kind of a logjam around a 2:40 time for 5 and 6. So some nice separation there. And then, Apex, awesome to see them getting under 3 with that C team.
Unbelievable time. I would have been happy to see them, 3:01, 3 minute, cut a second or two off, but I think that Fringe team motivated them to find a little something extra there.
So I'm actually taking a look. I've got, we have some new timing systems this year that are clocking buggy speeds as they come down the free roll. So for the SDC B and C re-rolls, coming in at about 34 miles an hour. And the last roll, which was Fidelt and which other team?
SIGAP.
SIGAP. And SIGAP came through first, so they came through at about a 32 mile per hour speed, with Fidelt coming in at about 29 miles per hour. Fringe A just also clocked 34 miles per hour down the free roll.
That's quick.
Mind you, the speed limit is 25 miles an hour on that street. So don't tell the police that. But it's amazing they get these buggies going that quick in that hairpin of a turn around the chute. Pretty incredible feat of engineering.
The most amazing accomplishment out of that is 34 miles an hour on a women's team. I expect us to see a top speed on the men's teams of probably around like 36 to 37 seconds. And your speed at the top of the hill up here makes a huge difference. And to only be 3 miles an hour behind the top men's teams with both Fringe and SDC's teams, that's incredible.
Very, very impressive. This next heat coming up, we have CIAA and Fringe C. CIAA, 2 years in a row, one prior to this, partially due to, some of the issues with SDC last year, but CIAA, not the best day for them yesterday. You think they might be able to shave a second or two somewhere. They came in at a 2:34.89, a bit of a logjam for like 2 through 5.
Yeah.
They'd love to be able to get back into second place.
I think they would.
You go, Aaron. Sorry
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
well their Hill 3 pickup was not good yesterday, so they can make up some time there. But again, we were mentioning that they lost their amazing Hill 1, so I know that they have some people training for it, but we may not break a record this year.
Yeah, the only thing yesterday in their run that I would say is sort of perfect, they really couldn't have done anything to improve it, was their free roll. I think that in every little aspect of their race, they can tweak a little bit. They can cut a quarter second here, they can cut a quarter second there, and all of that should add up to a faster time for today. I do expect them to be faster than they were yesterday.
Yesterday at 2:34.89, their team record about a 2:31. Let's go ahead and introduce the teams. First off, in the second lane, we're going to have Fringe C. They're going to be pushing Beacon. On Hill 1, we have Nikita Budwal. Hill 2, Victoria Kong. Hill 3, Abby Mui. Hill 4, Tanvi Shah. Hill 5, Val Collins. And the driver, Helen Kidd. And in lane 1, we're going to have CIAA pushing Equinox. On Hill 1, we have Andrea Sipos. Hill 2, Hannah Linus. Hill 3, Tundan Oladapio. Hill 4, Sarah Dykeman. And Hill 5, Elam Zhang. The driver, Uriana Daly. You got me again, CIA. You have your pronunciation guide, but you have jokes in the pronunciation guide, and I like jokes. Buggy's getting set there. Again, you'll notice how some of the teams leave them actually kind of hanging there, trying to keep those wheels with, the heat treatment off the course as long as they can. The mechanics make their way out.
4, 3, 2, 1, ready, set.
And they're off here. CIAA trying to clean up on their time from yesterday.
Coming up strong on Hill 1 here, starting to separate away from Fringe C, pushing Beacon. We always used to joke with John Deezer, who built that buggy, that he built Sun-Kissed the buggy. And a 22-second Hill 1, that's a much more solid time from yesterday with a great Hill 2 transition. And here comes Hannah Linus, who's flying, and here she goes. She's sending it down into the free roll.
Very nice front hills right there out of CIA. Looking pretty good compared to yesterday.
And Fringe
C's away.
Coming in about 6 seconds behind CIAA there into the free roll.
Looking really good in the free roll right there. Nice, tight, hugging that curb. And so far, putting together a really nice run. You can see them just, solidifying from the prior day. Coming to that stop sign, 102 and a half, fastest I think we've seen today.
That is faster than SDCB for sure.
And here we are coming into the chute.
Elon,
Looking
how's
good
it look?
so far. Coming through the second flag. Nice tight line. Good driving by Ariana. Looks really good to me.
That was a really nice chute turn right there. Trying to get some eyes here on Fringe coming through.
Fringe coming through nice too. Nice and tight.
And Tundan here picking up the buggy there on the back end. A lot of momentum coming through.
Yeah, that Hill 3 pickup was better than yesterday.
And pushing off to Sarah. Pretty good transition here as well.
Really blasting right there. Fringe, quite a bit of separation behind right there with their C-team, CIAAs. Looking good. It'll be interesting to see where they come, kind of around that 230 mark. So again, that transition right here at about 208.
And that was a very good transition there from 4 to 5. Sarah gave a great shove, and she was able to get the Hill 5 a good window before she had to start actually pushing the buggy herself.
And Elam's going to have to watch it, or this buggy's going to get away from her.
She knows what she's doing. Slowing down there, just a little tap as she's coming into the finish line.
Again, the hand must be on the push bar when they cross that line. We're over 231, 232, 233. And hands-on right there, 234.83.
So right about the same time that they put up yesterday, and
Yep.
here comes Sunkiss coming up the back hills.
Yeah, it looks like, they were a 0.06 seconds different than yesterday, according to that unofficial time.
So very consistent.
Yeah, very consistent. Not going to put them ahead of SDCB. And Fringe C coming in 256.11. Actually, only 0.17 seconds off of yesterday. So both teams very consistent, very similar times as what they saw yesterday.
And CIA was clocked in the free roll at 34.81 miles per hour, and Fringe was clocked at 33.
That's our fastest time so far today with Equinox.
With women's, yes.
Again, Hannah Linus really sent it up there on Hill 2. Gave him a great push off.
What are your thoughts there on, because it looked nicer on the front end there, but they, didn't pick up really much time from yesterday. Do you have any sense on, what happened in the rest of the race, why there wasn't as much of a difference as we thought there might be?
It's a lot colder today.
Yeah.
When these teams ran yesterday, it was much warmer.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how the elements play into that, but part of the beauty and the toughness of this sport is you take what you're given from Mother Nature. We'll have some replays coming up after this, looking at some of the images in the chute right there.
Those Fringe buggies are a beauty to watch during drops. If you ever watch the teams during drops, they are always the first one to stop.
And here we have CIA coming through the chute right there. Really tight line right there.
I think SDC's been taking that line even a little bit tighter than that.
Wow, that looked good though. That was a nice chute turn right there.
But yeah, that's excellent driving.
So hard to come whipping around. I'm not sure exactly where they're taking the speed measurement, but they're probably in the 30s.
I think this is the one that's set up at the monument.
And the monument's not even the fastest part of the course.
Correct.
They're picking up speed for probably like another 100 feet, you would say, beyond that. So they're, probably maxing out about 36 on the women's side. So men's side, they're probably maxing out close to 40 these days, and that's
wild.
mighty fast.
And see them make that tight of a turn in a buggy, lying down Superman style. It's
the closest thing I've likened it to is driving a roller coaster. So you have it's obviously very bumpy because there's no suspension in any buggies that I know of that I've seen. So it's just wheels on pavement. But you kind of get to the top of the hill and you're okay, here we go. And it's fun.
I
It's
imagine.
very fun.
I don't know if it's my type of fun. That being said, I don't think there may have ever been a buggy I could fit in, so I may not get to have that fun. But
Well,
it
it's
looks
actually
like,
not. There's a lot of people who are very excited about doing it, and then we try them out as drivers, and they discover that they are claustrophobic.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have
It's tight.
Yeah, right. It's very tight in there. Limited visibility, 40 miles an hour, swinging around the curve. It's incredibly impressive what these drivers are doing. Getting ready here for this heat number 4. This is the second to last heat on the women's side. Pica A, Apex A. Pica put up a great time yesterday, coming in second place, looking to see if they're able to hold on to that. And Apex A, maybe trying to battle for something in the top 6. They came out a little bit outside yesterday, 247, but if they shave a second or two, who knows? Let's go ahead and introduce the rosters, and then we'll get things underway with this race shortly. So in lane 2, we're going to have Apex A. They are pushing Firefly. Their Hill 1 is Amelia Clark. Hill 2, Sarah Mahler. Hill 3, Delaney Lamb. Hill 4, Nicole Weingartner. And Hill 5, Ryan Casey. The driver is Sam Wall. And in lane 1, we're going to have Pica A pushing Banshee. On Hill 1, we have Katie Liston. Hill 2, Anna Reiger. Hill 3, Erica Foos. Hill 4, Dominique Pitak. And on Hill 5, Megan Jabe. The driver, Anna Zay.
I remember when Banshee first came out, a bunch of us started calling it Bansheesus because it was so amazing we couldn't believe it was anything other than built by Jesus.
I have no response.
It's a very fast buggy.
They'll have to be pretty fast out here. Again, yesterday they rolled a 232.46. The current top spot, SDCB, with a 232.80. So they're going to have to replicate their time from yesterday. Maybe see if they can get a little bit faster. Hold on to that number 2.
4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
And here we go. They are off. Katie Liston on that hill one for Pika. Showing some clear separation pretty early on. With that staggered start, doesn't really matter. She's flying up hill one.
Katie Liston is a former Queen of the Hill winner here and just put up our fastest time today, playing 19.5, 22nd. Apex was just behind them, about 22 seconds.
And really, that's a pretty good time for Apex. It's just Pike was going so fast you couldn't tell.
She did not have a great push off there from Pika. I don't believe she really got a good shove.
It started to get away from her.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if that had some ramifications, getting things so close to their time from yesterday with SDCB. And you know, if you lose a half a second, you fall out of second. So
she's screaming fast down this free
but
roll.
yeah, this
again, Banshees us.
Yeah, this is a beautiful, clean free roll right there.
Oh, it's going to be amazing stop sign
gliding.
time.
Stop sign time 102.5.
Right about where CIA was.
Yeah, but incredible. Just, you know, without even that hill 2 having much of a push there, still so much speed as they come into the chute.
Yeah, really flying down through here. Looking like a nice turn. Anna's really consistent. Nice. Good clean turn.
Slight bit wider right there, but still looking pretty good. We'll get some eyes. Apex coming there.
There goes Firefly through the chute. Really nice tight turn from them.
And Pika now on the pickup on the hill 3 there. Erica Foos. Pretty good momentum still coming up through as she transitions to the 4 right there.
Great 3-4 transition by Pika.
They're cruising here, but don't think they're going to have anything to compete with SDC for today. They would need to probably be about 5 to 7 seconds faster than where they are right now.
That said, though, trying to get as high of a spot as they can with that trophy. Shoving off right there at about a 2:06, and let's see what Megan Jade can do here on Hill 5.
Their day 1 time was a 2:32.46, so that's what they're looking to beat.
They're right about on pace to do that.
They are.
Yeah. And it's all going to be about this Hill 5. How quickly can they get across right here? Megan Jade coming through. We have eyes right there on that finish line cam. We're looking at 2:29. We're looking at 2:30. Coming across, hand on the push bar at 2:33.26. Looks like they lost about a second right there.
So that actually puts them behind SDCB.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for Pika, it looks like it cost him a spot.
And Apex A coming through hands across on that push bar, 2:49.04. So they lost a couple seconds from yesterday. Coming across there, and again, you know, it's different things we talk about, right? It's the weather, not quite as good. You're tired after pulling out a race like that yesterday. You know, unfortunate when you see teams lose sometime. There's still a really nice time out of Pika A. 2:34 right there. That is, you know, still going to be able to keep them. Actually, that's going to be close to CIA. CIA was at 2:34.78.
So it puts them also ahead of CIA, but behind SDCB.
That said, again, those times we see are unofficial. A couple times yesterday, we did lose a half a second or so, something like that. SDC record. We thought they, you know, broke the record by a second. It was more like they broke the record by half a second. So let's keep our eyes out for what that final time was there for Pika. It's going to be tight with them and CIA for what is presumably the third place spot. Because coming up next, we have SDCA. SDCA set a new course record yesterday, blowing the old one out of the water, cutting 2 seconds off of that. SDCA, again, disqualified last year, so they didn't finish. This year is the Revenge Tour, and they made a statement yesterday. Just a beautiful, beautiful run.
And Pika was clocked at 34.43 miles per hour.
All right.
That's slightly behind CIA at 34.81.
And I think that the not great Hill 2 push-off really made
really
the big
affected
difference. And also affected their final time. Because if you're not rolling as fast in the free roll, it's going to cost you speed in the course.
The free roll is the biggest part of the course.
Absolutely.
So we'll keep an eye out there as we prepare to get into this final heat of women's. Just to give you, sort of an update on how things are shaking out. Let's see, we do have the time for Pika A in the women's finals. They gave them a 2:33.24. So that's actually pretty nice. I think that's a little faster than we thought it was going to be. 2:33.24. So they are safely ahead of CIAA, who was a 2:34.78. Puts them half a second behind SDCB. So SDCB looking to pretty securely have that second place spot. In case some sort of disqualification happens with SDCA, SDC will win the race in some way today. Looking at that leaderboard there, SDCB with a 232.8, Pika A 233, CIAA 234, Fringe A 238, SDCC 242, SIGEP A 243. Again, the top 6 teams get trophies. So it looks like SIGEP may get edged out there, which is unfortunate for them. Spirit A, do you think they have opportunity to get onto that leaderboard?
Spirit A didn't. They disqualified yesterday. They're not
rolling
today.
Oh. Ooh, what's up with that heat? Okay, cool. Who is going with CIA? Or excuse me, with SDC?
It'll be Fringe B.
Fringe B. Okay, my bad. Sorry. You put something in front of me, I will read it. It's dangerous. So thank you guys for keeping me honest there. SDCA and Fringe B. Let's go ahead and introduce these rosters then before we get underway here. Ooh, just trying to pull it up. SDCA and Fringe B here. Again, this is the final roll of women's action here. It looks like we're probably not going to have any re-rolls. Again, very nice, clean driving. Wonderful to see that. Lane 2, we're going to have Fringe B with Boson. On Hill 1, they have Marissa Muskai. On Hill 2, Sloan Macklin. On Hill 3, Hannah Mahone. Hill 4, Tessa Whedon. Hill 5, Amy Chen. And the driver, Madison Scott. And in Lane 1, your record-holding women's team, SDCA. They're pushing Malice. On Hill 1, Mary Garrett. Hill 2, Lisa Murphy. Hill 3, Jennifer Mayberger. Hill 4, Michaela Filieri. And Hill 5, Olivia Keller. And the driver, the record holder for both men's and women's on this course, Annie Black.
And I can remember back to 2 years ago, Annie Black's first year. She was driving Bain, and she had a couple of wobbles in the chute on some wet roads. And I said then, look out for her. She's going to be a really good driver one day.
2, 1, ready, set.
And here we are. SDC had some pretty nice road conditions yesterday. At this point, they're kind of racing themselves. Can they break that record even further? Coming here on Hill 1, a ton of separation.
Looking to beat at 2:23.39.
Shoving into the transition there to 2, Lisa Murphy.
19-second Hill 1 there puts her very close to Queen of the Hill with Pika.
Really nice shove off right there. Ton of power in that push right there. Lisa Murphy.
And she's just driving on her own.
Wow. Malice also just a great looking buggy when it's out there on the free roll.
Malice is coming up now on being one of the winningest buggies of all time. ATO's Golden Goose is ahead of it. I believe that there is a Pika buggy out there, though I don't know the name. Andy Borda can probably tell us later that is also ahead of that buggy, but probably for not much longer.
Sub 1 minute stop sign time of 58. My word, they are flying.
They're not satisfied with that time yesterday. I think they want to go sub 220 if they could.
I mean, it's funny. Everybody was talking yesterday. 2:23 is a formidable men's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking like a great shoot there. Maybe coming in a little wide on the outside, but Fringe coming in too, nice and tight. Looking great by both the drivers.
Here we go, hill 3. Had to do a little bit of a steppy step right there, but taking it in stride here. 1 shove, 2 shove, and just a 3 shove hill 3. You love to see that when you get that much momentum. Nice transition into the 4.
Yeah, she picked up that buggy at about 1 minute, 29 seconds.
And they are racing themselves here. We got history yesterday twice. Lightning strike 3 times. We'll see right here in this transition we're getting now from the 4 to the 5 coming right up.
And Fringe B is not putting up a slow time here. They're not even in the frame.
That's how fast SDCA is in a league of their own. Let's see, they're going against themselves here again. Yesterday putting up a 2:23.39.
We're at 2:15. She picked up that buggy at about 2 minutes for hill 5.
Olivia Keller on hill 5, hands on the push bar, 2:23.30.
And as a reminder, that is not an official time, so that could be another record-setting run.
Again, we're gonna look and see what the final timing is. That would have beaten their time from yesterday by 0.09 seconds. And Fringe B coming across at 2:41. That's a really nice time out of them. So, ladies and gentlemen,
that's only a half second off their A team.
Yeah. We're going to get you the official time, but we very well may have just seen themselves break their own record. Another flawless run right there. Oh, it's really nice.
Their buggies just look so easy to push. And you get up there, you see those girls, they tap that push bar. They tap it with 2 fingers, and it takes off. And that's where they have the difference between all the other teams. When you see other teams pushing their buggies, they look like they're laboring. SEC pushers, nothing. And they don't look like they're significantly larger than some of the other teams. Like they really just have these like yoked girls out there on their push team.
Yeah.
That is amazing
Although
to me.
Lisa Murphy there on the hill too, CMU basketball player, she's got some size. She shoved that down there. That was
Absolutely.
a really nice hill 2 push right there.
But I mean, look at the hill 2s for Pika too. She was probably just as big as Lisa Murphy,
That's fair.
and did not have nearly the push off.
No, they're shout out to SDC. No matter what, they're taking spot 1, spot 2. It's just a matter of whether they broke their own record. That's the level they've reached where they're just trying to continually break records. They're not even worried about what's going out there on their competition.
There is no competition. Their competition is SDC and their records. Can they beat their records? Yeah. No one's competing with them right now.
Right.
Incredible showing right there.
Their free roll speed was clocked at 35.67 miles an hour.
And I have received their official time. It was a 2:23.27. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new world record. SDC besting themselves. Incredible. Oh my. We have a final leaderboard, so let's go ahead and see how that shakes out. Again, the top 6 teams get trophies. First place, SDCA with the world record, 2:23.27. SDCB taking second place with a 2:32.80. Third place, Pika A, a 2:33.24. Great to see them back here in that top 3. CIAA just behind at 2:34.78. Fringe A at 2:38.06. And sixth place is Fringe B, 2:41.82. So congrats to Fringe getting a couple teams on the podium there. Really, really nice race day. Very clean. A lot of really just,
this is
nice
how it
driving.
should be.
Yeah.
This is how it should be. This is always, when a race day looks like this, I know we had some rain delays this morning and the weather's a little bit cold, but this is what we do it for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Final thoughts here. I think we'll probably transition, take a little break. Men's are getting underway probably a little less than 10 minutes. But Aaron, final thoughts on the day. I know you kind of gave them there, but anything else?
I'm really, really proud of SDCA and B. They're just a powerhouse, and I'm just really glad to be here and seeing all the races.
Connor?
I think we need to create a separate, heat just for SDC-A to be on their own? Because, look, their B team is still winning the race, so we might as well just put SDC's A team, like, out on their own, just let them try to set course records, and then just give the trophies to everybody else. 'Cause, I mean, the trophies, they're going to get they can still get the first place trophy anyway. Let's get, like, some competition back in this and you know, get it close again.
Elon, any final thoughts from you in the shoot there? We may have lost Elon. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, again, men's are getting underway very shortly, but we're going to take a quick pause here. If you guys check out, we got some trivia up on the screen right there. Go ahead and text your answer to the question there, but want to go ahead and give a sign off right here. Thank you very much to Elon, Aaron, Connor. I'm Will Weiner. We'll be back in just a couple minutes here with the men's finals. Congratulations, though, to SDC, your champions for Buggy Sweepstakes 2017 on the women's side. And we'll be back in just a few minutes here on WRCT and CMU TV.
Dominated on the road coast.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Mirabella, and I'm here with Vivan and Danielle from Buggy. This has been an organization since 2013. So they're a newer organization to the sport, and we're just interested in learning a little bit more about what they're doing here on the course. So I'd be interested in hearing from you, like, why did you start Buggy?
Well, RoboBuggy is actually a project within the Carnegie Mellon Robotics Club, and some of the members were just together and they were like, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if we could make a buggy without a driver? So that's what they did. They took out the driver from the buggy and put in a computer instead and made it a robot. So today is the first day on race day, which we have autonomously navigated the course. We've done it a couple times this past semester, and we were really close last year, but we were doing remote driving before that, and so this is the first time we've done autonomous on race day, which is really exciting.
Thanks, Danielle. And Vivan, could you tell us a bit about why you joined the organization?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the organization, the project was made like about 1 year before I entered CMU, and so it was basically when I first went to the Robotics Club general meeting, because I have no formal robotics experience. Like, I didn't do robotics in high school, so I figured I'll try out and join the Robotics Club, see what it's like, and then they roll out this buggy on stage. It's like, oh, we're making a robotic buggy, and so it's I kind of just figured that's pretty awesome. So I just kind of joined in that to see what it was like.
Well, great. Thank you so much to the two of you, and good luck in the future years with this Buggy project. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. That was a bad idea myself. Nope.
Wheel 3, Bruce Lee. Wheel 4, Harrison Hannah. Wheel 5, Mateo Lundgren. And the driver, Elizabeth G. And in Wheel 1, we're going to have STCB. The buggy is big. Hill 1 pusher, Kevin DeVicentis. Hill 2, Cody Ye. Hill 3, Alex Norrie. Hill 4, Danny Padova. Hill 5, Roshan Nair. And the driver, Kiyoko Inagawa. And we've also switched over the broadcast team. I'm still here, Will Weiner, but I am now joined by Brian Arsham, Andy Bordick, and in the chute, Mark Estes. Guys, how are we feeling about men's race day?
We're excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I mean, again, seeing a women's record here on a day that I didn't expect it.
It's ridiculous. And you know, I'm looking to go, oh, geez, SDCB is going against SDCC. That's going to be hard. They don't care. SDC is killing it. How do you come out? It was cold. It's nice now, but it was cold. SDC's out there. You can put 3 teams up there at the same time. You can put A, B, and C out there, and they're probably going to take first, second, and third. Who's going to step up and beat these guys?
So far, definitely who we saw on the women's side, no one could do it.
Right.
On the men's, you know, SDCC came in 10th place, B came in 5th. So, you know, it'll be a little tougher sledding for them to get, you know, multiple trophies out of this one. You think the B team probably is going to hold on to 5 or 6 spot, very close. The times between 3 and 6th place. CIAA on day 1 came in at a 209.64. Spirit A was in 6th place with a 210.87. Very, very going to be probably a pretty tight race there. You know, how that leaderboard shuffles around.
And the way they're performing today, I'm going to say that SDCB is liable for about a 208.5. You know, they're going to, I'm guessing they're going to get a little bit better. The fact that their women's team nibbled away at that record again is just ridiculous from day 1 to day 2. And I think that it just kind of shows what they're doing with their buggies and how their pushes are prepping too. They're pushing themselves a bit more. I would expect them to knock off that 209 time and maybe be third.
And you know, one of the things that I'm interested to see is Spirit A, who was 6th yesterday, and I think they're running in the last heat with SDCA. If you look at the actual speeds from yesterday, Spirit A's buggy was actually, based on the timing information we have, the fastest buggy on the course. It was about at the speed trap that we have by the chute, they had a speed of about 37.22 or 23 miles per hour, whereas the record-setting roll of Malice was only a 37.2.
And you stole my thunder because the Spirit Women's A team was the fastest women's buggy yesterday, and they didn't make it through the turn. So I want to see what they got too, because I think there's a lot they can do if they can put their push team together.
Yeah.
So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Yeah, like you said, we're going to have some very fast buggy just to start off here with this SDCB team out here. Here comes the C squad as well. Again, 10 teams going to be racing out here. Top 6 are able to get trophies out of this, bragging rights, all that good stuff. So we will see how it goes down. The buggies are out there on the course, and we will be getting underway with men's finals here in 10 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1, ready, set.
Here they are both off. SDC, just so much depth, so much talent. We saw it on the women's side, no different on the men's. And Kevin DeVicentis on hill 1 is coming out like a man on fire.
I love the flow on C team, but man, that guy on their B team is fast. 16 and a half on that hill 1.
I think that's probably a second or so better than yesterday.
Pretty deep right there for the hill 2 shove off, but nice momentum coming through.
Yeah, 27 seconds there at the crosswalk. Yesterday, that B team, they were a little bit faster than what they were yesterday. I had him at a 16.7 on the hill 1. He shaved about 2/10 off.
For those of you who may just be joining us here, sun's coming out, people are waking up, etc., etc. This part of the race is the free roll. There is a driver in these buggies, a very small girl, controlling that thing. 52-second stop sign time, and they're driving it right now, probably going 37, 38 miles an hour, something like that, as they enter the chute.
All right, STCB coming down, taking the chute flag now, turning in smoothly. Oh, very tight, big wiggle. STCB. Oh, they lost a little speed there. That was not a great STC turn. STCC through very cleanly, rolling out.
And we'll see how that affects them there. Again, things very tight on that leaderboard. A lot of people hovering around 209. Both teams coming here in this hill 3, but their pusher is flying.
And that was a big surprise too, because they've been a really consistent driver. Their stop sign time was the same as yesterday, so we'll see if that affects them here on the back hills.
Oh, I like the way this guy runs there, hill 4. He is just chugging along. They're really pushing for it, trying to make up for some of that lost time in the chute right there.
And I love how yoked he is and his boob is hanging out.
Danny Padova transitions over there to Rohan Nair, the hill 5 pusher.
I'd like to get a replay of that chute turn if we can.
And I think we'll be able to. We're looking here, it's 2:05.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot slower than yesterday.
Yeah,
that chute turn might have lost a lot of time for them.
They were 2 seconds slower at the 4-5 transition.
Yeah, and hand on the push bar right there, just as he crosses, kind of loses it, but it looks like that still will be valid. Hand on the push bar there, 2:19.28.
It's a great C team time.
Wow. And that'll be, they lost half a second on the C team, and the A team, excuse me, the B team there definitely lost some time. Looks like probably from that chute turn.
And an interesting note there, it sounds like the SDCB team there may have been pretty close to a transition DQ on the hill 1-2 transition. So we'll have to wait and see. You know, that time right now of around a 2:12 will obviously stand until there's a head judge review. But there's a possibility of a transition DQ there.
So maybe we try to get the replay on the hill 1-2 transition as well
Yeah.
as the chute turn. The chute turn was interesting because these STC drivers have been really consistent with their turns. The similarity in their buggies gives them the ability to coach them in a very similar way. And the fact that she reefed that turn on early, and I think Mark can talk more about it, is just not what we've been seeing in the past couple of years, let alone just yesterday and today.
No, they were flawless yesterday, and today, no, not a good start. No.
And we'll have that replay of the footage right there. So let's take a look at that shoot turn.
So you see right there that she starts to scrub the speed off, recorrects, and then right here she hits that bump and slides a little bit again.
Yeah, so just took it a little too much turn early, and that, you saw what happened.
And interestingly enough, the C-Team driver was a little bit more aggressive yesterday and had a bit more of a scrub there. So it's almost like they swapped what they were doing. It's just that spot right there. You don't normally see an STT driver reef that on, and there's almost no need to. I don't know if she felt like she was late or if her sight picture varied, but she really put on more than she had to. This line actually looks really good, especially compared to yesterday. And I was down there for the women's race, and she had a much better line today than she had yesterday. So she's figuring out what's going on in that buggy, but it looks like their B driver just
B
had a
driver
few
just
things
did.
to figure out.
It's because B driver had a really nice women's race, out early in that re-roll. Unfortunate to see that, unrepresentative of SDC normally, who is so mechanical almost in their precision.
Yeah, and one of the things we were talking about, on the front hills, they were shaving a couple of seconds off. They got a nice hill 2 shove. It's possible, and even at the stop sign, she was a little bit faster than yesterday. It's possible, you ramp up for this, but this is probably the fastest she's gone in that buggy this year. So she may have just not quite expected to be going that fast.
And that's the one that's the variable right there. They posted a time of 2:14.4 for their B team, so significantly slower and not what we would expect. But the C team came in at a 2:19.2, so pretty consistent there. Getting this, it's a good C team time. To think about, not too long ago, that was like a top 3 time.
Yeah.
So as a C team, again, fabulous organization. Just that B thing is just surprising. It opens a door for Spirit, CIA to get that second place or third place.
Yeah, and another. Oh, sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
But it's important to note, just driving's not easy, right? You're barely off the cement, and it's a crown turn. You really have to just trust your training, and it's race day. There's adrenaline. People are excited. So the precision you need may not always be there, but it's not easy to drive.
I liked Erin's comment earlier during the women's broadcast when she said the best metaphor she has is it's like driving a roller coaster.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're going down, it's bumpy, it's rattling all around, and it's an incredible skill set these drivers have. And like you mentioned, though, some of these teams, it's opening the door. One of those teams is up right next here with SIGEP A. They had a 209 yesterday at 209.68. They were in 4th place. Second place was Pica with a 207, so maybe can't quite get up there, but very good chance of getting in the top 3 if they can get things together.
Yeah, they're a wild card. It'll be fun to see CIAB go against them.
Yeah, this should be a pretty exciting heat right here. CIA, the depth is really impressive how they've been able to, field really competitive up and down their roster. And I think, we're going to see some of that out here. Let's go ahead and introduce these rosters right here. First in lane 2, we have CIAB. They're going to be pushing Tempest on hill 1. The pusher is D. Tom. Hiller 2, Julian Trulier. Hill 3, Luis Hernandez. Hill 4, Joey Pickens. And Hill 5, Brandon Jin. And in lane 1, Sig Ep A. They are pushing Kraken. On hill 1, Armand Hezerkani. Hill 2, John Bird. Hill 3, Isaiah Edmonds. Hill 4, Ian Allen. And Hill 5, Morgan Stanley.
You're awesome.
Their driver, Madeline Finn. And for CIA, the driver is Katie Yip.
SIGEP A is one of these interesting teams because, the buggy and the team, they really, a lot of teams will over machine things and make things really, really, really complex, and it kind of adds some potential issues. SIGEP kind of keeps things simple, and their buggies roll really fast, so they've really kind of mastered that skill.
3, 2, 1, ready, set.
And we're off here in this second heat. Sig Ep A trying to get in one of those top 3 spots. Armand blasting out here on the hill 1. Let's see how he compares to that SDC. CIAB.
Not doing too bad.
And there's that 1-2 transition.
About a 16.9 on that hill one, so not good STC speed. Not bad.
John Bird.
A nice push off there for Sigep.
And a good open over, just under 28 seconds. So Sigep is hauling pretty well today.
Coming out into the free roll. This is really where you can see the buggies kind of separate themselves. How much room are we going to have between the two?
From my standpoint, it looks like the Sigep Hill 1 cut off half a second off his time from yesterday.
And that's huge for them, again, in kind of that log jam. Coming to the stop sign, 53 seconds. That's a nice time for them.
Yep, they were 54 yesterday, so they're stepping up a little bit if she can make it through the turn.
Sigep coming down. Decent lead. Taking the shoot flag. CIA taking the mark. Very good turn for both buggies. CIA going in a little tight. We're going to be very close on hill 3.
CIAB there staying really close to Sigep A, especially off those front hills.
Really made up some time, and here comes Isaiah Edmond on hill 3.
Nice pickup.
CIAB really,
That dude's a beast.
Impressed how close they're coming in. Isaiah Edmonds, really nice hill 3 right there, and he transitions over to Ian Allen. Joseph Pickens like chickens, a little bit behind him there. And you can see here's a little bit where some of that A versus B team pusher separation comes through, where that lead for Sigep has really increased. Getting ready for the 4-5. Ian Allen gives it off to the money man, Morgan Stanley.
They're about a second ahead of what they were yesterday. They could be getting like a 2:08 right now.
And that would be near a team record for them, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Their team record is 2:08.55. Trying to get some eyes here. Do not have eyes up on the screen. Trying to see where they cross right here. Looks like a 2:09.3 unofficially, but we'll have to see. We'll confirm that. It looked like it could have been a little bit quicker right there.
If that's close to what they did, it's about half a second faster, so they got to be pretty happy with that improvement. It's not great, but that puts them in first place right now.
Yeah, that would put them in first place. CIAB, where was that, a 2:15 about?
Yeah.
Yeah. CIAB, what were they, 2:15?
Yeah, I think it was at 2:14, 2:15 there, which puts them around where SDCB came in.
Yeah, and they cut some good time off. They were 2:17 yesterday.
Yeah, 2:17 high. That'll be almost 3 seconds.
In fact, here's a replay on the Sigep A finish. No problems with the push bar there.
So it all looks good. It's just a matter of what the time was. But, in general, it looked like it was going to be faster than yesterday. It's just a question of how much faster. But that's going to put them in pole position, at least to start things off here. This the second of 5 of these men's final heats. CIAA, Pica B going to be coming up after this. Again, these teams battling for, presumably second, third place. SDCA set a course record yesterday. So they're, barring some sort of disqualification, kind of the favorites to take the trophy home. But a lot of drama between now and then, trying to figure out how the rest of the leaderboard is going to look.
Yeah, great job by Sigep. 2 things that are really stand out for what they did. First, they improved day 1 to day 2, not always easy to do. And the second thing is, year to year, they've gotten there, like you said, they're moving towards simplicity. Their buggies are holding together. That driver of Kraken is doing a great job. Her women's shoot turn was beautiful. I almost thought she was too tight, but it was so smooth, there was no slide, and she did it again for their men's team. Really solid that way. So those guys can push really hard, and they can push the rest of it knowing that they have a confidence in a driver and a system that's going to get them through. Sigep is really looking better again. If they can keep building on it, I would expect them to come back next year and be even more competitive.
And it's good to see they had no problems with drops there, which they had a little bit of issues with yesterday and in past years.
Right.
So they had that successful. But one of the interesting things there, I'm very curious to see. I don't know if we have the speed trap times on the free rolls there, because CIAB made up a lot of ground on Sigep in the free roll, and that was their B team. That was their second fastest buggy, which makes me very curious about CIAA, which I think was third yesterday, or they were fourth coming into the third coming into today. So and they're up in this next heat. And if their B buggy was able to gain that much speed, their A buggy may be even faster.
Right.
And so if they're able to do that, if they can shave a couple of seconds off of what they did yesterday, if their A team pushers are fast enough, if they've got the buggy going fast enough, they could be competing for second place. And who knows what happens on race day?
That's right.
we all assume SDC is going to win. Malice is the fastest buggy on the course, but you never know what's going to happen.
Well, we just saw the B team, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. One small mistake, and like Mark said, it's really hard to do. You have to be perfect across the board.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's also sort of a testament to just how good the driving's been this year.
Yeah.
It's not bad weather, but it's not great weather, and it's been, knock on wood, pretty much crash-free.
And two things on that, and I don't want to go too long, but they didn't have a lot of practice for spring rolls. I would have expected more carnage than what we're getting. So the fact that they're getting through cleanly is really a good thing. So, we look at these girls who are driving. They don't get tons of practice, but they're looking really, really good this year, and it's been very clean. And I think that just helps these teams overall in what they're doing. Now, this heat coming up is actually really interesting because CIA A and Pica B, Pica B is a good buggy. It's a good program. They could be one of those sort of B teams dragged along by an A team and make this more exciting than it should be. However, by what we saw and what Brian just said, man, CIA really looks like they're on their A game today. So,
and it's even one of these small things where like the wind just picked up, and like when everybody's off by half a second, that could be the difference. Also, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, please do stay off of the sidewalks. Keep clear of the course. We want to keep things moving here. We want you to be safe. Do have a time, it looks like, for SIG EP A. Don't have that CIA official time, but it looks like it's a 2:09.24. And then CIAB is a 2:15.30.
Nice.
So just behind SDCB there, but that's really nice out of them.
2.5 seconds. Great job, CIA.
Hey, guys, with respect to the roll we just saw, I'm not sure if it was CIA going faster or SIGEP just not having that spark this year in the roll, because they usually show up and throw down something on fire. And this year, looking at the split times, the trap times from yesterday, they really weren't there. So not sure which it is, but great lines by both drivers.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce the squads for this race. As mentioned, Pica B, CIAA. How do you say their new buggy?
It's Cleona.
Cleona is going to be in lane 2. Hill 1 is going to be Justin Bellardi. Hill 2, Ryan Janzik. Hill 3, William Clark. Hill 4, Assad Dar. And Hill 5, Alexander Burns. The driver, Victoria Vanberschoten. And in lane 1, CIAA, Equinox, Joseph Gu on Hill 1. Kevin Wang, Hill 2. Looks like we're about to start.
3, 2, 1, ready, set.
And here goes Joseph Gu kicking things off here. CIAA, the window is open for them.
Holy cow.
And Pica, they got
really keeping up here. In fact,
this is going to get messy.
This is going to be a really interesting free roll.
And they get that 1-2 transition Pica B does before CIAA, so this free roll,
Pica B beat him up the hill.
We're going to have some excitement. And shoved off
very exciting
nearly simultaneously here. Let's see how these drivers take it. CIA trying to take the more inside line there.
They're going to be very close.
And it looks
man.
Oh, wow, Pica B gets in the line first, and
but
they are in the lead.
CIA is gaining again.
Passing on the outside.
Oh,
How
my.
hard is that?
CIA looking for that pass. Pica holding on to their position. Both crossing the stop sign about the same time, 54 seconds. And coming into the chute.
This is tight. Side by side at the upper transition. Pica B still holding on, coming down.
I think she broke a little
Yeah,
bit.
she had to. If she's driving, she's losing too much speed.
Both coming in. We slide on Pica, but through cleanly. CIA very tight. I think we're going to see some great rollout. It's going to be very close on Hill 4.
I would expect CIA to outroll Pica on this just from the size of the wheels alone.
And let's see right here. 3 picking it up right there. It looks like CIA may have had to slow down a little bit on that pickup. And this is all going to be about the back hills. William Clark transitions right there for Pica. CIA right behind them.
This is unbelievable.
Vincent Liu versus Assad Dar. And Pica getting a little bit more separation right here on the back hills with their B team pusher. This is going to be close.
Pica's bringing on this. This is totally unexpected.
And then they're gaining, they're opening up the lead. It's not getting closer, it's getting farther away.
Alexander binds Pika's Hill 5, looking to maintain that lead. A.J. Collins, though, for CIA, trying to see if he can make up some of that space.
This is going to get really
This is going to be really close here coming into the finish. Neck and neck. A.J. Collins, can he sprint out ahead? Handle on the push bar. And CIA by a nose of a Buggy. Oh, wow.
You know, the final time on that race may not be great. Obviously, CIA having to possibly break there. It's a Pika B team. But that is one of the most exciting races you're ever going to see at Buggy.
So awesome.
Oh, my. Wonderful driving.
Great driving.
Amazing driving.
Look at that finish. Like, you got an A team, Hill 5 right there against a B team, and they're busting. I mean, that's 2 feet.
Wow. Oh, my. What an effort there. A.J. Collins on Hill 5.
And what a surprise. Pika B came to play.
Yeah, incredibly impressed by Pike right there.
I mean, this part right here, I'm sure these girls are freaking out. The CIAA would never expect to be in the back there. The Pika driver's loving life because she's in front and clear. And CI did everything they had to do to get in front. And they're working hard. That driver worked so hard for CIA the whole race to try to get around there. And it took him to Hill 5 to do it. Holy cow, that was amazing.
And
I have to suspect they touched the brakes just lightly right before the chute flag because the gap opened up. And there's no other way that would happen.
And it's unreal how it looked like the Hill 4 kind of got some separation. And it looked like it was clearly going to be Pike's. And then... Hill 5.
And, you know, one of the things, but Buggy is largely about safety. And, you know, going into the free roll there, Pika was in the front. So they have the right of way. And CIA, no matter what happens, they have to make sure that they stay out of Pika's way. And so that became a problem. That's why ultimately, if CIA did tap on the brake, that's why Pika is allowed to stay in their line for as long as they can.
Right.
They have the right to do what they want. The fact that CIA's driver was behind means that she has to adjust. And if that means tapping on the brake, that means tapping on the brake. And, you know, they may try to request a re-roll or something, but unless there's contact, they probably won't get it. And it's really unfortunate for CIA.
Well, and you know, thinking about what happened yesterday, it was such a clean day. Things went like exactly as we had thought. And now we are already seen an SDC hiccup that dropped them down, and now a CIA from a B team. I mean, it's so great, these races, and why they do them. And there's so little pieces. There's these tiny little things you got to do. That Hill 1 tore off the whole thing. The Pika B Hill 1 totally took away CIA's race.
It did. And you look at the final times. We have CIA A was a 2:14.29, Pika B at 2:14.36. So technically that puts CIA in second behind Sig Ep right now, but, you know, quite significantly behind. And, you know, if you're Sig Ep, you got to be pretty happy to see that, and interested to see, you know, how Pika A does if they're able to, you know, keep up their time yesterday of a 2:07 in this next heat. But, you know, if Pika A slips up a little bit, despite, you know, how great we just saw their B team do, Sig Ep could be getting a second place today.
Hey, Pika B team, as good as they looked, were slower than yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
They added 2/10 of their time, so it was merely up and over that got them there. They really didn't shave off any time, but this is why these seedings are odd. And by the way, I'm looking at one that really makes me nervous. The last heat of the day, SDCA and Spirit.
That's even here, Pika A Fringe A.
Yeah,
that's
so the way they're supposed to seed these is like, you know, the first place team goes against the sixth place team, and they just kind of stagger them. Pika A Fringe A makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but when you say that, right, the first place team versus the sixth place team, if you look at everybody's times yesterday, there wasn't a ton of separation in some of these, especially in the early half when you have some of those like 5-6 matchups or whatever. It's hard to really get that much separation. Let's go ahead and introduce the rosters right here for these teams that are coming up. In lane 2, it's going to be Fringe A pushing Boson. Hill 1 is Cameron Huang. Hill 2, Jacob Brooks. Hill 3, Evan Schindewolf. Hill 4, Kincaid Murray. And Hill 5, Taj Springer. The driver, Madison Scott. And in lane 1, Pika A. They're pushing Banshee. On Hill 1, Samuel Benger. Hill 2, Jacob Vries. Hill 3, Gabriel Renna. Hill 4, Carl Mark Coom. And Hill 5, Calvin Hubbard, the driver, Anna Zhang.
So yesterday, Fringe A, Hill 1 was 2 seconds slower than the Pica Hill 1. So you wouldn't expect them to be close, but I would have expected CIA and Pica to be that close there. So Fringe has the ability to do what Pica B just did to CIA, and so we got to see what they're going to come up with on the Hill 1. The up and over will drive this race.
And an interesting note, so from yesterday's times, we don't have Pica A's free roll speed, but Fringe A's free roll speed was a little bit faster than Pica B's free roll speed yesterday. So it's possible, even if Pica goes into the free roll first, like if Fringe's buggy is faster, we could see another very interesting race here.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race.
So we're coming up. A lot of excitement. This and then one more heat coming up after that. But, my.
Naked Pica drivers.
2 quick observations. Right now, 2 through 6, a second separates them.
Wow.
And you got to imagine Fringe and Spirit are loving the opportunities they're being given.
4, 3, 2, 1, ready, set.
So Pica A, Fringe A, they are off. The time to beat Sig Ep A of a 209.24.
And it didn't take long for Pica A to get in front there. That was one shove.
Their push team's looking great this year. Going here from the 1 to the 2. The 16-second hill.
About the same time as yesterday, yeah.
But some good separation. Looks like they'll have a little bit easier time in the shoot, in the free roll than they did than last heat.
It's a hard
shove by Pica.
It's a hard shove, but he held on to that for a while, so he may have lost a tiny bit of speed there.
They're a little bit behind what they did yesterday, about 2/10 off.
See again, they rolled a 207. That was good for second place yesterday.
But there is some nice separation here between Pica and Fringe, so this one might not be quite as exciting as the previous race.
Yeah, once they're up and over, Anna Zhang's a great driver. And
52-second stop sign.
I wouldn't expect her to make too many mistakes as a senior.
Right, Pica taking the upper transition flag, now Fringe taking their flag. Pica's into the turn. Very smooth turn. She had the best turn yesterday, matched it today. Fringe also looking good, very tight, nicely through.
Couple really nice shoot lines right there. And here we go into Hill 3 for Pica. 209.25, the time to beat to take the top spot.
A nice pickup there by both teams.
Not a huge roll-up out of Pica, though.
Yeah.
3 to 4. This is Karl Mark Coom. Coom bringing the boom. He is blasting up there.
I will fear that man in my dreams.
Oh, they got a great push team this year. I'm really impressed with Pica.
It's really impressive here. We've been talking about A versus B, and you see the separation here. Pica A is pulling away from Fringe A.
Yeah, and Calvin Hubbard here, Hill 5, trying to get a sub 209 time.
They shoved at the same time. Sorry, they shoved the same time they did yesterday, a 147. So I'm going to expect about a 206 again.
Let's see right here. We're crossing over 204, 205. Hands on the push bar, 208 and a half probably. 212 coming through for Fringe A. That's pretty nice. That's going to put them in what would be third place right now.
And Fringe just took about a second and a half off their time. It looks like Pica might have added some time. So
Pica may have lost a second or so there. We don't have an exact snapshot there, but it looks like it should be better than Sig Ep's time by a half second or so.
And while this race wasn't close, Pica looked okay, but really the stopwatch said that they were just about the same as they were yesterday.
Yeah, which is right now good enough for first place. Again, you can't quite count your chickens before they hit something. I don't know. But point being, if anything goes wrong here for SDCA, Pica is your champion, which is incredible. Just thinking how the past decade has been for them. Thinking about Fish Club last year, right? The Buggy team formerly known as Fish Club, as a chance to take home first place.
Yeah, Pica's been fighting through some adversity. They've had some challenges with, the loss of their typical house, moving into a different place, the resources, the ability for these brothers to come together. And so, again, kind of like Sig Ep, they have resurged this year, looking good. A sub 210 time both days, clean. Anna Zhang, great driver. They got good buggies. They have the ability to do it, and it's just a matter of keeping the foot on the pedal. Again, right now, there is pressure on SDC. While they had an amazing time yesterday and they continue to look really good, they still have to execute. It could be a little slip. It could be a missed shove. It could be a drop test, whatever. there is still an execution that they have to do. They've been very good, but that's why we have the races.
I just want to quickly mention, Buggy is part of a overall spring carnival here, so there's a bunch of other events going on. There's booth, there's Mobot, things like that. There's a food truck event going on by I think Donner, the dorm over here, going on until about 2 o'clock. So there's a bunch of events here, but Buggy, we all obviously love Buggy. We come after this, and it'll be interesting to see here as we wind up with the last scheduled heat, pending any re-rolls or anything like that, with SDCA.
I'm just getting a note. It looks like CIAA has requested a re-roll because the driver hit the brakes. Unsure if we'll get that, but that's a piece of news coming through. If we don't have any re-rolls, this is going to be the final heat of the day. As mentioned, SDC, the big dog. This is their yard. They just broke the record yesterday, trying to maybe shave some time off of that. Not as good of conditions out here, but again, they were in a whole different league. They had a 2:02.32 yesterday. That's probably going to be a good 5 seconds faster yesterday than anything.
If I may, Will.
You may.
The story we should be talking about is Spirit.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Spirit today. They had a good time yesterday, particularly given how they've been the last few years. The door is wide open, right? Pico just went a little slower. A couple other orgs went a lot slower. They were sitting 6th last night. If they really crack one out here, they could be sitting 2nd.
It's like Mark and I share a
STC meets
brain.
the Bales. They might take home the crown.
Yep.
And I'm stealing all of Andy's thunder. Sorry, buddy.
He's way smarter than me.
And you look at it, right, they had a 2:10.87 yesterday, but again, not a perfect race by any means from them.
And I'll tell you what, the gap between the Spirit A Hill 1 and the SDC Hill 1 is not even as close as Fringe and Pico were, so there is a chance that Spirit A Hill 1 gets up there and becomes a real nuisance for SDC and makes it hard for them.
And again, this leaderboard kind of insane right now. We're waiting on that time for Pica A. You imagine they'll probably be in first. SIGAP A will be second with the 209.24. Oh, cool. We do have Pike A. They got a 208.42, so lost a little time on yesterday, but they are still first place pretty easily. And then second place, SIGAP A, 209.24. And then after that, it's insanely close. Fringe A, 213.30. Fourth, CIAA, 214.29. Pica B, 214.36. SDC B, 214.40.
3 teams within like a tenth of a second.
Yeah. And let's go ahead here and introduce these 2 squads right here. Again, this is going to be, pending any re-rolls, the final race of the day. Pica holding on to that number 1 spot, but SDC broke the record yesterday. What can they do? Spirit trying to get in one of those top 3 spots maybe. They certainly have the talent and the ability. They're going to be in lane 2, and they're going to be pushing Kingpin. On hill 1 is going to be James Ormond. Hill 2, Justice Frimpong. Hill 3, Steven Scott. Hill 4, Seth Henry. And Hill 5, Malik Parker. The driver, Rebecca Cobb. And in lane 1, your course record holders, SDCA, pushing Malice. On hill 1, Jacob Hoffman. In hill 2, Ryan Aguirre. Hill 3, Boyo Yu. Hill 4, Brandon Foster. Hill 5, Oliver Liebert. And the driver, Annie Black.
And just a reminder to people on the course, after this race, in the event that there are still re-rolls, please stay off the course, because if there are re-rolls, we'll need that clear.
Oh, more tall, naked men.
That is a very nice paint job on Kingpin there.
Oh, yeah. Buggy's looking great.
4, 3, 2, 1, ready, stop.
And the final heat of race day 2017 is off. This is looking neck and neck right here.
This is going right away like they should. Should have got a second ahead on the 1.
And they're getting that good separation again, setting the record yesterday. Wow. Are they able to top that today? Hill 1 to 2. Ton of separation. My gosh.
And a great shove off there by SDCA. They didn't miss anything.
Hill 1 just cut half a second off his Hill 1 time to sub 16. Wow. Faster than yesterday.
Wow.
And again, yesterday they rolled a 2:02.32. That's the number they're competing with. Spirit A looking pretty good in the free roll, but SDCA, again, just their own league. 50-second stop sign, almost going sub 50 there.
A second faster than yesterday.
And we'll see if her turn here is cleaner than it was yesterday.
Yep, STC upper flag. Now Spirit taking theirs. Nice smooth turn in for SDC. Also for Spirit.
That was much cleaner.
Not spectacular, but very good turn for both buggies. Let's see what happens.
Much cleaner than yesterday. Yesterday she kind of fishtailed a little. She lost a little bit of speed. This time it looked very, very smooth.
Nice pickup.
And coming here into this 3-4, SDC gonna be close to getting their own record.
That was an insane rollout. That was one push.
Hill 3, one bump to a shove. There is no Hill 3 for SDC anymore.
Brandon Foster here in Hill 4. He is flying. Spirit A, really a pretty good time. It's just SDC going so fast, trying to set another record today. Here's the 4 to the 5.
They're going to be very close. Yesterday too.
Oliver LeBird here on Hill 5, blasting through, trying to find that last bit of energy. Can they break another record here on finals? Coming up very close to the line. We just crossed over 2 minutes. Hand on the push bar, 2:02.18 unofficially.
I have him faster, yeah.
A new record. And Spirit A coming through at a 2:09.36. We got to see what the official time is there. That could be second place time for them, though.
Second or third, right?
So SDC's time is obviously a winning time, assuming no other issues. They still have drops, but whether that's a record, we have to wait for the official one. Second place here is going to be very, very close.
Yeah. Wow. Second place for Pica A was a 2:08.42. Spirit there looked to probably be in that 2:09 plus or minus a hair. SIGAP A is a 2:09.24. So we got to look for these final times because this is going to be some excitement. A, did they break their own record? And then B, who's going to be second place, third place?
Ridiculous. I mean, the fact that they can shave more time off of something. They have a 7-second lead, and they're still out there busting everything they can. Their Hill 1 just lit it up.
Yeah. That was
she also had a better shoot turn. She was a little tighter, which saves time. And I haven't seen rollout like that since King Eider, the bike.
Right.
I mean, that was one push, and they were already at the transition.
That was absolutely insane.
It's ridiculous.
So again, waiting on some of the final info, but in general, congrats SDC. Women taking the top 2 spots, setting a record 2 days in a row. Men looking like they're going to take the top spot here, potentially again setting a record for the second day in a row.
It's just they're a machine that can't be stopped. And who's going to step up? Who can even approach that? It's like they're getting the best athletes on campus. They got the best rolling buggies with great technology, rolling that thing up. I mean, seriously, there's going to be a Hill 3 guy. Just watch the thing go by in a couple of years.
It's rollout is just unreal right there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please do stay off the course. I don't have word on any re-rolls, but just trying to make sure. And ladies and gentlemen, there is the time, a 2:02.16. We have a new course record from SDC.
So SDC setting course records in both men's and women's yesterday, and then breaking it again today.
And congratulations there, Annie Black, course record holder as a driver. And great driving out of her. Looking at the rest of that leaderboard, congratulations to Pica A, 2:08.42. They're going to be in second place. SIGAP A, 2:09.24. Spirit A, 2:09.33. I have received word there will be at least one re-roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do stay off the course.
Get yourselves off the course.
And if it is a re-roll with CIA, I don't know if they're going to get one.
If they get a re-roll, man, I got some issues because just because you're behind a buggy you can't pass doesn't grant you a re-roll. You have to make the pass. The rules are very clear on that. So they can fight for it, but I got issues with that.
Well, they're going to give them the roll. It's just whether or not it counts.
Look at his shoot turn. Seriously, like Mark's saying, especially compared to the B team, so smooth. There's like no wiggle, no lost energy, and that's what you got to do to get that roll up. Man, she drove that clean.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, really, everything in that roll was terrific. I mean, it was an amazing Hill 1. It was a great Hill 2 push. It was a clean shoot turn. The pickup from Hill 3 was good.
We did some math when I was in the 90s of like what the fastest time could be, and we used to say 2:02, and we're seeing it. And the Hill 1 barely looked like he was trying. It's just like zipping up Hill 1, tearing with that buggy away, ripping off a 2:02. It's just ridiculous.
Unreal. So still waiting word on these re-rolls, what may be coming of that, but please do attempt to stay clear of the course. Congrats, STC. Unreal. Insane, that battle for second place right there. Congrats to Pika for holding on to that. But
getting second place, it's great to see them back in at least the top 3 with a good time. Great job. Sig Ep took third place.
Yeah.
Great job to Sig Ep now. Also being competitive spirit. Guys, you guys are looking good. Just keep working on that. It's just, you're so close.
Oh, man, so tight. We're on a hold for re-roll, trying to get that all sorted out. We will give that information when we have it. But it's great to see 4 teams sub 210. I sometimes forget about SDC, they're so fast. But 4 teams sub 210 right there. Kind of in that log jam. It's really nice to see that from all 3 of those programs, and gives them a lot of motivation going into next year to try and hop up there into that second spot.
Yeah, any other year we'd be talking about what an amazing role we just saw out of Pika, or even from Spirit. Like, that was an amazing job they did, and yet they can't even see SDC from where they finished. That is crazy how fast they got. In all this great driving, I give it to the technology of the GoPro cameras that have been mounted on all these buggies. These drivers get a much better education than they did back in my day.
Hey, we have a little hold here for this reroll, and I just want to take this time to thank my colleague here, Will, who comes and does this, and he's really dedicated, and you probably all know him as the buggy guy, and he does this on his own time, and he commits himself to do this, and he shows up all these days at Carnival, and he's really good at what he does. The first time he did a buggy broadcast, I would say Will was about a 5 on a 10 scale. And right
That's
now,
generous.
He's banging out a good 9.8 on a 10 scale. The only thing would be better if you put on like a costume, maybe with some visuals. But Will does such a great job with this, and we're super lucky to have a guy like him who knows the sport, knows this event, and gives great commentary and takes a skill he developed here. I just want to thank you, Will. You're awesome.
Well, thank you, Andy. It's always a pleasure working with you, Mark. Kind of. Brian, thank you for joining us in the booth here. Earlier, Aaron, Connor, Elon, it's it's a testament to this community that we can have, so many people stepping up here, able to speak with such an insane knowledge, such insane, eloquence about all this. So always a pleasure. Again, students, if you want to do this, I got my start. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Please take this job from me. I know Andy just said it so well, but love to help someone. I've gotten to do some other announcing stuff because of it. We got word CIAA is being granted a re-roll, so unsure whether it's going to count or not.
Whatever.
But I assume if they're granted a re-roll, they will count it. So that could even...
They adjudicate afterwards.
So CIAA will be re-rolling in about 6 minutes, so if everyone can please clear the course. If you're walking up, hang out and watch this last race because this one does count.
Yeah, this will be the CIAA
So
time.
this could really shake up that leaderboard.
It's unlikely they're going to reach the 202 levels of SDCA, but definitely 208. I mean, their preliminary time yesterday was about a 209.
Yeah,
so
they could take a second or third place away from
right.
somebody.
Yeah.
They could knock Sig Ep out of 3. They could knock Pike out at 2, maybe if they have a really good race, and then Spirit, same boat.
Yeah, watching their roll, it was shades of CIA 2 years ago where their A team was stuck behind somebody to beat them up and over, and it cost them then. I think a tenth of a second would have changed their fortune tremendously. Yeah. And here we are this year. That up and over is important. And
that's
CIA's done amazing things in a lot of ways, but that's one area where this year it bit them.
How hard is it to push a buggy race twice in a day?
Especially this
within
close.
like half an hour of each other.
I'm not an athlete, and I was a very slow D team pusher. But even then, you exhaust yourself. This looks like some of these guys are really good and it's easy. This is a hard thing to do. You're going to sprint just up a hill in general, it's not easy. And then go as fast as you can, and you're pushing, I don't know, 90 or 100 pounds. It's not easy. I normally would feel like I was going to vomit when I was done pushing on any hill. And so these guys having to come out and do it again, most times it doesn't work out. Now, in this case, because of where they were as a buggy, they're likely to get a lower time than a 2:14, but I can't imagine they will improve on yesterday's time.
And, and it's not just the pushers here. There's a couple of other things. The mechanics prepare for a certain
number of rolls.
Yeah, they prepare for a certain number of rolls. They prepare for the specific time. They do things in the truck. Prepare the wheels, get the buggy ready to come back out within half an hour and try and get it ready when they weren't ready for that. That's one issue. Also, you have another added benefit when you're rolling with another team of the adrenaline, especially in that race where Pika was so close to them. Like, there's adrenaline pushing you further that when you roll by yourself, you just don't have. So that there's several things that make a re-roll. It's really more of a last resort thing. You only do it if there's really a problem, and I mean, in this case, you know where you are, so you'd like to think you're not going to do any worse, but you're definitely not going to get the time that you would have gotten had you done it initially.
And we're using a lot of data here. We're on the CMU Buggy alumni website, and Ben Matzke, I got to thank him too.
Yeah, that's the real hero here.
So Ben's the president of this group, and they give us all this data. So we're looking at all this stuff that's on there. And if you're watching at home, like on the live stream at CMU TV, a lot of the links come through that too. And I got to thank Ben and all the data that we get to refer on that way. And I know people at home, like my wife just commented, hey, the SDC pusher doesn't look like he's working hard. And so these things are out there for us to look at, and you can watch these races again later, broadcast by CMU TV, and they continue to put it out. So there's a couple things. I want to thank Ben for doing that. I want to thank CMU TV for making this amazing production, and then the ability for us as announcers to sort of review these things and go back and say, man, is CI going to be better? If we're writing all this stuff down, we're a bunch of idiots in this booth, but all these really dedicated people volunteering the data and the time. I mean, there's two guys making their own independent timing systems that we're relying on.
It's pretty absurd, amazing community.
You can say absurd.
Pretty absurd. I mean, being a CMU alum, I understand how dedicated we get to absurd things, but it's amazing the level of passion around this sport, and how much the student community and the alumni community kind of give to just making it what it is. Coming up here, probably less than 5 minutes until this final re-roll. The time CIAA, if they wanted to get to second, would be gunning for is 2:8.42. Yep. After that, there's a log jam with 4, a Spirit at 2:09.33. CIAA currently sitting in 6 with a 2:14.29. But they're probably going to be hoping for something sub 2:10. We'll look to see whether they can get it. It is a little colder. The sun went away. They've pushed a race, but I think if we've learned anything, it's really hard to prognosticate on this type of stuff.
Again, working on a 2:09.64. That's their goal. They're going to say, I want to do better than a 2:09.64 and see if they can't steal a trophy from somebody.
And, it's interesting because the top 6 teams actually do get trophies. Right now, CIAA is in 6th, so they are in a trophy spot. Now, it's not a great trophy spot. You'd definitely rather be top 5.
So what's the risk?
But but the risk is if you end up putting up a time a little, even a touch slower. Pika B was only 0.07 of a second behind them in 6th.
You lose your trophy.
So you lose all trophies if you end up putting even a slight time slower than what you have now.
This is not without risk.
You have to try.
You have to try unless you just want the hardware.
No, for my A team, I would.
Nobody
totally
wants
do
a 6th place trophy.
Yep. If somebody gives me an A team re-roll, I will take it every single time. I'm stupid, but I will push my wheels and my pushers. I'll be get your butt out there and push the thing faster. I will take a A team re-roll every single time.
And
they've worked. Pika won back in the 80s after a re-roll. Spirit won in, I think, 92, 93 after a re-roll. Right? They work. You can actually win this thing with a re-roll. So it's hard, but it's fun.
And CIAA coming out now. We're under 1 minute. A great race they were in earlier. Obviously not the time they wanted, but what a pleasure to watch.
And people keep asking me, why are they re-rolling? And I don't know, because it looked like a clean race. I mean, take it. They got it. They're getting the re-roll. Great. I don't know why. The rules say the lead buggy has the right of way, and the second buggy just has to work their way around it. Brian already said it. I don't know why they're re-rolling, but get along, little doggy.
There we go. We get a little bit of free buggy here. So this is going to be the final roll of Race Day 2017. It's funny because buggy's free. And here we are, Joseph Gu. Hill 1. You see a lot of the teams sprinting after him.
That is a freakishly tall man. And skinny.
17-second there, stop sign time.
I have an 18.601, which is a second or more slower than his time yesterday.
Getting it there into the free roll.
That didn't look like a great push.
No.
So this could be a problem for them. This.
I think they'll beat the 214, but they're not as good as they were yesterday.
Yeah, pretty clean sailing here. It's easy when you don't have another buggy in the free roll there. But again, the question is, A, can they beat the 214, and then B, anything under 210. Hasn't looked great on the front end, but again, they had some really nice backhill pushers. 54-second stop sign.
Same time as yesterday. That puts it about a 209. So I love more rolls. I love buggy, but it's not improving.
All right, they're coming through. Can't really see the second buggy. Taking the chute flag. Nice. They turned early compared to everyone else, but that was nice. Just a tiny, tiny slide right at the bump.
And here come the back hills, and you gotta wonder, they expended so much energy in that, kind of comeback right there. Let's see what they got. Lester Martinez seems not to mind. He is blasting out there on hill 3. Missed the bar a little bit on one of those shoves, though.
You'll have a chance to see where they are compared to yesterday. They ran a 150 at the second transition line for hill 5. That'll give you a sense of how fast they're going right now.
And they're going pretty fast. Vincent Liu coming up here. And probably going to be right about the same thing on that transition.
It's about a second slower here.
151. A.J. Collins coming through here. Again, trying to get something sub 210, move into one of those top spots, and they're going to be close.
Yeah, right now the thing to look at is Spirit A with a 209.33. Can they beat that?
Bumping here, trying to get that finish line cam. Hand on the push bar, 210.71. Looking like they're probably going to end up in that fifth spot right there.
They moved up one spot.
Yeah. So congrats. It's nice to see them get the reroll. Congrats to Spirit. Nice to see them hold on to that 4 spot after a really impressive year. Same thing, with SIGEP, Pika, all them holding on there. CIAA able to shave off a few seconds right there. So
while shoving off.
Somehow the seconds are gone. Through some mechanism or another. So good stuff out of them. Obviously still not quite the time they wanted. They thought they could be in that second place conversation, and maybe if they had had one clean roll they could have. Awaiting that official time, but I think it's pretty safe to say Spirit's going to be secure in that 4 spot there with the 209.33. Again, just to recap, congratulations to SDC this year. 2 course records, really 4. They broke the records yesterday, re-broke the records today on both the men's and the women's side of things. Pika A, really nice resurgence from them, coming up in second place. SIGEP A, great to see them in third. Spirit A, just a hair behind SIGEP in fourth. CIAA moves up into fifth with a 210.66, and Fringe A in sixth with a 213.30. Going to be bringing home some hardware. Again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us out here. I want to give a thank you to Andy, to Brian, to Mark in the chute. Of course, our friends here at WRCT doing the audio for you. CFU TV putting our faces on the screen, and more importantly, putting the buggies on the screen. EMS, sweepstakes, probably more people I'm forgetting to thank. But what a race day. Excited to do it again next year. Thank you so much. We're signing off.
See you next year.